Ted Kaczynski, a brilliant mathematician, had been living a hermit's life in a 10 by 12 foot cabin in the Montana woods.
Uncle Ted talks in my ear.
Anti-Technology Manifesto.
Uncle Ted talks without fear.
A hooded sweatshirt, sunglasses.
Critiquing the direction this whole society is headed. Uncle Ted talks these ideas worth spreading. We're touching grass and greener pastures, leaving behind the technology disaster. Uncle Ted talks in my ear. Uncle Ted talks crystal clear. Uncle Ted talks.
When it was published in 1995, a man stepped forward to identify his brother as the Unabomber.
Where's Steve go?
Oh, I'm here.
Howdy, Teds.
How we doing, fellas?
Oh, how's the weather?
Another fantastic Tuesday, thankfully with less weather. This week we bring on an old friend of ours that I've been on his show a number of times. We've done a bunch of things together. So anybody, and actually for a long time, Christy and Brian, that was their favorite show, was Mark's. But Mark Steves.
What's up? Hello, everybody. Welcome. I feel welcome here with my Ted hood and my glasses, and I'm ready to get Tedded.
Yes.
All right.
Got a couple of interesting things I saw this week that very much apply. One of them was the obviously the Epstein release and some of the tech bro information that got put in that, like slipping the wife the old penicillin cocktail. Like, I don't want her to know I gave her the drip. that was pretty interesting. And then obviously a lot of people have been seeing the extreme spike in the silver market. And obviously, to go along with that spike in price, we got to have us some new legislation because they got to control that and make sure they know who has it.
Who has the silver?
Yeah, no more going into a pawn shop and just hawking your silver and anonymously going back out into the woods into your cabin to write manifestos and keep track.
Well, Ted, they've got to cauterize,
Yeah.
and
I tried
then
to sell some silver a few weeks ago.
tokenize.
You get the
Really
100?
low. Not even worth it.
Did you get the 100?
No, I didn't end up selling. I just walked away because I was like, that's not worth it. But that was before this all this stuff going on.
Yeah, hang on to it. Probably keep going up.
I would think so. The obviously the economy is there's no way of correcting it short of we just like find a volcano of gold or something. There's not any correcting it. That's a fact.
It's a shame.
And for anybody that doesn't know you, tell everybody where to find you and what you're doing now there, Mark.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks again for having me. My family thinks I'm crazy is the name of the podcast. Still a true statement for me and most of the guests I have on the show. They could relate to that. Steve's been a guest as well. What's up, Steve? Obviously, as you mentioned, Ben's been a guest. But yeah, I have been recently looking into Jim Keith's work. I just found a couple of his books at a used bookstore, and I had one or two copies of various books of his. But when I found, believe it was Case Books on the Men in Black at a local used bookstore, I just went down the Jim Keith rabbit hole and ordered a bunch of books lately. Black Helicopters Over America is the next one I should be getting in the mail. But yeah, lately I've been reading Saucers of the Illuminati by him and Mind Control, World Control, which details a lot of stuff that's really relevant today. Particularly the Saucers of the Illuminati book in light of everything in the way of disclosure and the whole UAP, how the conversations moved from UFO to UAP. And many of us in this sort of world of speculation have become very skeptical towards just the openness in government communication about that subject. And Jim Keith really, I would say, foretells all of it. And even some of the players he was writing about in the 90s are still active today, minus some of the younger ones. But in Saucers of the Illuminati, Jim Keith basically concludes that the aliens are not from outer space. They're interdimensional occult beings that are in league with certain aspects of the government and secret societies, occult groups, and it just rings true with so many other things. But if you separate that from the rest of his work, again, the whole mind control, world control angle, that mixed in with the interdimensional alien, it reminds me of Invasion of the Body Snatchers or something like that. So yeah, that's what I've been getting into and talking about on my show lately.
Interesting. I have to agree with his assessment of it. Up until this 3-eye atlas, there's never been any sightings of a UFO out of our atmosphere, and that's always been kind of a key to me. That obviously, if it's from space, why don't we occasionally at least see them coming in on the way in? It's like it's already here whenever we see them. That doesn't make sense.
Mm.
And obviously, from my perspective, we live in a sealed system, so they couldn't come in and out. And now with
this, and
go ahead.
Again, like what you're saying with the sealed system, I think there's something there, and with these interdimensional entities, whether or not they're coming from another space outside of Earth or not, doesn't really, I don't think it's relevant. I think what's more important is what they're trying to do to us as human beings and as a population. And yeah, one of the things that was alarming was this concept of technological isolation. And when Jim Keith was writing about it, the only thing he could really conceive of was like a couch potato, like someone who is like addicted to television. But nowadays, I mean, we all know social media, video games, like people are technologically isolated and in a sort of augmented reality of their own choosing, as their algorithm dictates their worldview. And again, this is like right into the playbook of the Tavistock Institute, really, but Zbigniew Brzezinski writes about this in his Technocratic Age book. And yeah, I think, given that this is a TED Talk, this is kind of what came to mind for me as far as what I would be talking about or bringing to the conversation today. Because yeah, it's like with this Mind Control, World Control book, some of the stuff they're talking about is so evil. It only makes sense that some interdimensional beings would want to do this to us. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm an optimist, maybe I want to believe in people, but and now with all the Epstein documents coming out, it's really hard to believe in people, huh?
Yeah, we all knew that was going to be a lot of dirt. We all knew it. And
Yeah.
it's in our community, it's obviously a fairly well-known thing that they don't even let you in power unless they have the dirt. That's why everybody in power is full of their closets are just full, because that's the ones they let have power. It makes them controllable. If you've got no dirt on you, you can't be controlled. You might go off and do something good for the people, and we can't have that. That would be wild.
I think that part of the release of 3 million at once, right? Which I don't know. It seems like a lot to dump on the public and media at both legacy and alternative. It seems
So how
like
do I come up with the? How do I get a last name here if I'm Ted?
Okay,
Say
so
Ted.
we were trying to
You're getting
decide.
Ted name. We got to do the official Ted ceremony, and then
I can't find the thing, but I have a
Don't let me
replacement thing
jump
for
ahead
it.
here.
So here's what I would like
I'm not
for you to
hearing
do.
Steve. Are you guys hearing Steve?
I hear Steve.
I hear Steve.
Oh, it must be on my end. Hold on, let me leave and jump back in.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
You will return
That's
as
all
a
right.
new
Steve
Ted.
needs to find the music.
Are we
and get
going
it together
for
anyway.
Markleberry,
He's like, we
Markleton?
got this awesome music to TED people, and then fuck that. We're not. It's gone. So I
It
don't
is
know.
gone. I can't find it. I have this though.
Something like Mark Farmingo.
So yeah. So here's what I'd like you to do backstage. Mark Steves, while you are still Mark Steves. Okay, I'd like you to remove the hood from your head and remove the sunglasses from your face. You're going to come to us naked as the day you were born, from the neck up and after puberty. Okay, all right. So
It's embarrassing.
we see you as you are into the world, Mark Steves. What we would like for you to do is when you start to hear the music, I assume, can you hear me now? That worked.
Yeah, I can hear you guys now. Sorry if I was over talking you earlier.
No, that's
Sorry.
no problem, brother.
That was the sound test. It's working.
Yeah, it checked out. So once you hear the music start to play, what I would like for you to do is to raise the hood up over your head, place the sunglasses upon your face, and officially I would like for you to bow your head as Mark Steves and lift it up. Put the hood on, Mark. Go. You are officially Ted Markleton. Ted Markleton, welcome to the esteemed TED community. It is our honor to accept you into the fold of the TEDed.
Thank you.
Heavy is the
It
hood.
is an honor. It is an honor, and I appreciate it. Coming from Ted Steves, this is big for me. Thank you.
It always makes me cry.
It is kind of wild because, like, me and Ted and Mark, me and Ted Bennington and Ted Markleton here, we didn't know each other. Fuck, dude. Before any of us were really fucking around in this space much, and yeah, it's been a
wild
lengthy
ride.
journey.
Been a wild ride.
Let's review the ride. What has brought you here to the TED cabin with us tonight? How many years back do we have to go? How many groundhogs have crawled out of holes through Groundhog's Day past to get you to join us tonight through the hardest of all weather warfare and modifications?
Yeah. A long time. If that question was for me, I wasn't really sure, but many Groundhog
It is
Days.
to you, Ted. It is to you.
Okay. I'm still getting used to the Ted Markleton name. So pardon me.
I
Um,
wanted to make you Ted Markleberry, but they shot it down.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Markleberry would have been great too.
I said Mark Farmingo, but
But that doesn't incorporate the name Ted in it at all. So we said, "Shut up, Ted Allen, go take a lap." And then we came back and we all rejoined, and now we're here again.
Right.
Yeah.
See, now I'm not seeing anyone's name because we're highlighting the chat. But why does? Oh,
there we go.
never mind. Ted Bennington. Got it. I wasn't sure because it wasn't listed earlier. All right.
Yeah,
All right.
I had it off because
Yeah.
I do. I've been doing a lot of debate panels and things like that. Going on some
Right.
other types of shows that aren't as TED oriented. They were more normie type shows, and trying to build up my arguments, like, because it's all fine. Yeah, you don't want to go full Ted Tard. I mean, when you do like a normal show, like what we've always done, you spend a couple hours, you give a presentation, and cats go nuts, and then no, but you don't really ever get challenged. You don't really grow. You go out there and you say something, and everybody claps and blah blah, and then that's the end of it. And I wanted to get into things where I get challenged and I have to justify things, and people can ask, because how often do you think something and then somebody asks just a simple stupid question, you're like, oh shit. And so I wanted to put myself in that, in that cauldron and take that heat and just kind of start working that out. And then plus learn how to talk to more normal people. Like if I can get other people to understand some of the things they're saying, it's easy enough in our community because we all have the lingo. We all have the background information. That doesn't mean I can't go meet somebody and in 20 minutes have them thinking what I'm thinking or interested in looking at anything. That's a whole different story, So I've been doing that kind of stuff on the side, so I don't put Ted Bennington at that point.
Rock on. Well, to answer Ted Allen's question posed to me more directly, I saw Loose Change when I was in middle school, so I think that was probably like a big education for me. And just fiddling around with junk in my dad's basement and building all kinds of crazy stuff. I think that's a bit of a education as well. I printed out the Anarchist Cookbook in my high school library. That was Tedified right there. I've just been into all this stuff
That's
for a while.
5-star Ted right there. 5-star Ted.
Yeah, well, and to be clear, I ripped up the pages that told you how to make hard drugs because I'm not about that stuff. But everything else I was fine with.
Remember when that was everybody knew that was banned. You didn't want nothing to do with that. Like the feds were going to be at your door tomorrow if you even look at.
That's why I had to print it at the high school.
Yeah, yeah, that's brilliant.
Print it there, then there's me or 250 other or however many other kids that could have did it. So, but yeah, I was always printing stuff out at the library when I was in high school and finding weird stuff back then on the internet because I graduated in 2012, so I'm not exactly an elder Ted here, but yeah, there was still in those days to 2010 to 2012 some pretty good stuff on the internet worth printing out, and I definitely took advantage of the free paper at that library. I still have some of those like in folders, old like just full books that I printed out.
Dude,
But
2012 was probably one of the last free years of the internet. Like you couldn't have picked a better moment to go, hey, I'm going to access this and print it off. That's impeccable timing.
Yeah, dumb luck, I would call it. But yeah, but that was the beginning of the book journey back then I didn't have a lot of books, and then after I graduated high school and dropped out of college, I was like, I just need to keep collecting as many books as possible. And now I have 2,000 or so. Most of them are weird books, but some of them are just, run of the mill regular books. But I guess the Jim Keith books are my proudest addition lately. I haven't really had time to sort through many of the others. One of the others that I got that's interesting is all about the Freemasonic connections to the Jack the Ripper killings, and the idea that this author poses is that there were multiple people committing those murders to cover up something else that was going on in the royal family, etc. But this sort of concept has been pushed forward, and I've seen Michael Hoffman and other authors like expound on that in ways where they show other crimes have been done to a similar effect, right? So you have these serial killers who, to some extent, like Ted Kaczynski, were brainwashed, mind controlled, whether it was through the military, through a mental hospital, a prison. There's multiple ways that people get funneled into these vectors, and then they commit some sort of heinous crime that becomes a spectacle, and then the media uses that spectacle to a certain agenda, right? We can use even Ted Kaczynski as an example of that, but there's so many that come to mind. But yeah, I think nowadays we're seeing it happen at hyperspeed. You have this sort of unraveling of society that's happening at a pace that makes people want to disconnect, right? And there's healthy and unhealthy ways to disconnect. I think, a lot of people who like Ted Kaczynski want to go off the grid, right? Like that kind of lifestyle is hinted at when you think about just like the veneer of who Ted Kaczynski is, maybe without the brutal details of it all. Just like the idealism of it is, yeah, like go off the grid and live in a cabin, right? But did he fare well in that? No, I mean, there's obvious reasons why some people had, his name on a list. But yeah, the world that they've created is one that allows people, like I was saying before, to isolate themselves in such a way where they can be in a community of bots. And maybe that's how some of these, again, criminals are inspired to commit, these crimes that we're seeing happening. I can think of a couple of, spree shootings or school shootings where people were in communities online, and that's very much part of the media narrative around those crimes, and saying, oh, well, this person was on this forum or this community, yada, yada. But are we heading towards a situation where, yeah, people are going to be inspired by AI and bots to do, worse things than we're already seeing? Yeah, probably.
Well, it seems the biggest key to getting people to do really fucked up, inhumane things to other people is to make them not believe they're human. And 100% in this virtual world they've created, that is super easy. And we're seeing it just on the political spectrum where it's not a disagreement, even in the purity tests amongst their own. If you don't meet the purity test, you are now fully rejected. They hate you. You're subhuman. It's really fascinating to watch. I mean, disheartening and horrible for sure, but fascinating at the same time. And then the pace that AI's taken over, because it doesn't seem like it was even a year ago that we just started talking about how, wow, look at AI. Look, it makes 6 fingers and weird shit like that. It doesn't all of a sudden, boom, now it's everywhere, everything.
Right.
Do you find Ted Markelson that you're walking a line, and on one side of is a technocratic hellscape, and on the other side of it is what is natural and more harmonically, energetically, or spiritually resonant. Because you do have a couple of specific vocations in life where without some of the more technocratic elements of information delivery, you're doing a very different thing, as are all of us. We're all doing a very different thing. So how do you navigate knowing what you know, and especially, what you've uncovered more recently with what you do for a living?
Well, mainly I try to disconnect in a healthy way as much as I can, you know. And that includes just having friends that aren't exactly interested in talking about all the stuff I talk about on my podcast, but we have other common interests, that's definitely become helpful. And I didn't even see that as beneficial a couple of years ago, during the whole pandemic. Like, I having friends that I didn't agree with was not interesting or fun, just because of how the world was. Maybe I've grown up and learned to be more, open-minded to people who I don't agree with. But yeah, I guess a couple of the people I hang out with regularly probably would have thought I was really crazy during the whole COVID situation, the whole pandemic bullshit. So, but yeah, I think really having like real connections around you in life, and a purpose in your physical life is important, so
Yeah.
although my
I
main job
Ted,
is
I hate to
podcasting.
interrupt you. We
Go ahead.
occasionally get idiots in the chat. Do you not? So this person is going full Asperger boomer in all caps lock because I said the word technocracy, and apparently they think that it's a made up word and not 100+ year old movement for a system of governance that relies on specifically people who are quote unquote experts in their specific fields of science and technology, rather than any sort of system by vote or governance by the people. It would be what the fuck?
Yeah, they are definitely not grounded in reality if they don't think the word technocracy is a real word. It's in the Oxford
Right.
Dictionary.
Yeah, and has been for a very, very, very long time. Elon Musk's grandfather was one of the people who helped establish the concept of the North American Technate, which was governance by technocracy and technocrats. We're like a century into this. Like I don't I
They're doing a pretty
can't
good job
fathom.
of it. Pretty
Like
good
that
job.
has to be intentional stupidity. It really does.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's been
Absolutely
around
not.
for well over 100 years. It's a system that eliminates a vote. It's a system that eliminates even oligarchs, for that matter. It's just self-appointed experts appointing more self-appointed experts.
Yeah.
I don't even know why that's a point of contention, but if you're gonna type like Spurging Boomer, all caps, will indulge you for a couple of minutes, you dummy. You should probably fucking look this up. It's available everywhere. Been around for 100 years. I don't understand how you could be that stupid out loud in front of God and all of these other people.
Yeah. And I mean, here in front of the Tednocracy of all people.
Right. Oh, okay. You're an actual idiot. You're an actual freaking dullard. Like, I get it. I get it. So, name anything that's been in concordance with the marketing from the time that you were born to now. Yeah, no, you can do what you want. We'll make fun of you for being dumb while you're doing it. We'll make fun of you for being slow. That's kind of what we do here. Like, it's not our fault you're this bad at this. That's something you learned.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think this person needs a re-education, and they should stop typing and start listening more. You know,
Right.
That's what my girlfriend tells me. She says you should listen more.
2 years in one mouth for a reason, right?
That's right. That's right. But you know, I wasn't saying anything important earlier, so it doesn't matter.
But you were, man. It's you know.
But apparently, all
Well,
caps
I
is
think-
too much for Steve not to not notice.
Right.
Well, it's the intentional misunderstanding. You know what I mean? Like, look, if you're gonna go out of your way to be that dumb out loud on purpose, all right, fine. We'll highlight that you're this dumb out loud on purpose. But we will provide a little bit of context for it. We'll tell you why you're dumb, and we will all join hands and, you know, pray to whatever God or gods that will listen that you are bestowed some knowledge and the ability to remove your head from your rectum and bring it back to its proper upright place and continue as a productive member of society with the learning and growing.
What I
Inshallah.
don't understand is he's saying that it doesn't seem like is he like for the technocracy? I don't understand. Where's this guy coming from?
I don't know. His initial gripe was that technocracy wasn't a word. I proved it was. He was like, you don't know what it means. I proved I did. Now he's screaming about being an oath keeper. So you're a Christian fundamentalist faggot.
Yeah,
And
clearly
you
a striker.
allowed yourself to get touched on at a bunch of different retreats in order for an accelerated career path. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. God bless.
One shot,
I'm-
1384 is a Striper fan. Can clearly see it in the black and yellow stripes.
You can. Yeah. Big Striper fan. We love Striper over here. We're all fans.
Yeah.
We are. Seen him in concert twice.
Spectacles, testicles, brandy cigars. You're all popes now. If you're not already a Ted, you can be
Yeah.
a pope.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah. You know, the thing is, like, you're never like, you're only going to get us to make fun of you. That's you're an oath keeper, so you're a Fed because your faggot Fed leader and his faggot Fed friends all got hemmed up at January 6th
Steve.
for being a
Dead
bunch
Steve.
of fucking
Dead
Feds
Steve.
and FBI
Dead
informants. It's
Dead
hey, no,
Steve.
hang on.
F-word.
We've
F-word,
got
bro.
we've got the FBI in the chat. Let's welcome it wouldn't be a TED Talk without the FBI present. Thank you for being here.
We do appreciate your presence. Let's not use the F word.
I love it.
When the Ted
I love
gets
it. No, it's fine.
fed
It,
up.
it reminds me of Thanksgiving dinner. I love it.
Yeah, we would like to continue being on YouTube. We've been growing quite a bit. Steve
Right,
needs to
right.
put a little note on his monitor that says keep his F
I think
word to
Steve's ready
himself.
to rumble.
We
Yeah,
have feds
it's his
on it.
favorite.
I'm ready to give this guy a link. I
Give him
am.
a motherfucking link. Go for it.
All right. Okay. hey, Tubby. Like, I already know.
Gen Z.
Hmm.
I like no.
God, I
He's
wish my
he's
niece was
blind.
Gen Z.
Yeah, he's got to be blind. Like, it's one thing to be done. If you're an actual Helen Keller, like if you're deaf and mute and you just have a freaking niece that's sitting next to you that's like, hey, dude, nobody cares about that. You're totally reading the room wrong. You're totally reading it wrong. Like, you're dumb out loud on purpose. You are.
How is he thinking we're liberals?
I guess so. I don't know. Like I'm saying, dude, he's dumb out loud on purpose.
Liberal use of language like technocrat and technocracy and technological.
Feel free to give your new friend a link, and we'll get back to
Yeah, no, links in the chat. He could hop in.
In a while. Yeah, feel free to give him a link, and until then, I would like to hear from Ted Markleton.
Yeah, Ted Allen posted the link.
Yeah, spectacles, testicles, brandy, cigars. We're all popes named Ted tonight. Did you ever get into Robert Anton Wilson in your journeys?
Bird dog.
Yeah. Robert Anton Wilson is an interesting character. I happened to find the Illuminati card game, which I know he didn't create, but he definitely inspired it to a large degree. Yeah, influenced it. I found the card game. Yeah, I ended up. This was a couple years ago, and I didn't have the money for it. But I was working for Tripoli at the time, still am. But I was working for him, and I was like, "Yo, Sam, you're gonna want these." So he sent me the money, and I shipped them to him. But I got to look at them, and I photocopied them before I sent them to him. And yeah, it's interesting because I remember, and I have the photocopies, so I should revisit this. But I remember seeing a lot of different cards that you don't see in the memes, and just things that maybe there's more to be looked at there. But as far as Robert Anton Wilson himself, I mean, his philosophy is definitely instrumental to like the whole Discordian kind of stuff, and I liked it when I was younger, but as a philosophy it's not something that I personally like build much off of. I think it's interesting as art. Uh, the the Church of the Subgenius is kind of also adjacent to Robert Anton Wilson stuff, and I interviewed Ivan Stang, one of the founders of the Church of the Subgenius, and he's kind of like a OG troll, and that's in the same vein with a lot of the Robert Anton Wilson stuff. It's kind of like, hey, like we don't like what's going on in mainstream society, so we're gonna troll it. We're gonna bring some humor and philosophy into this situation. So, with Robert Anton Wilson, it's like a lot of, to me, more of a cultural commentary than like um, any like conspiracies that are worthwhile. Like he does incorporate worthwhile conspiracies in his writing, but it's really more of like his philosophy and commentary on culture, which is interesting. But yeah, I interviewed somebody also recently that worked with Robert Anton Wilson. The name Gabriel comes to mind. I think his name's Chris Gabriel or Gabriel Kennedy, something like that. There's a couple of names floating around. 572 interviews now. I don't know.
Yeah, Gabriel Kennedy sounds like the name.
Yeah,
Good interview.
yeah, he's written a book recently about Robert Anton Wilson, and it's a good interview. He's an interesting guy. Something came to mind aside from Robert Anton Wilson for me, in the way of like what I would consider more interesting or worthwhile in that same vein, and that would be like Chris Knowles' research on a lot of the Discordian stuff, and I think even Steven Snyder's covered a bunch of this on his The Farm Mach 2 podcast. But I would defer to those guys for anything in the realm of Robert Anton Wilson, personally.
Yeah, it just feels relevant to bring up that idea of the Illuminati again, Robert Anton Wilson and Robert Shea and Discordians and all that sort of thing that was pretty popular in the early 90s around the time that Ted was sort of at large. So that sort of conspiracy culture that was bubbling up now seems to be, in a way, proven. Like, we have the receipts now because the documents have been released just in the last few days. So people are going through those documents and then finding some confirmation to some sort of inklings and hunches and intuitions that they had earlier. Have you seen any of that stuff that's kind of bubbling up now? Anything
With
specific?
the Epstein stuff?
Yeah, the Epstein files, the emails.
Nothing that I've looked into myself. Is all secondhand. Dark Journalist would be a great suggestion. Personally, he was talking about some stuff last night on the stream. Robert Maxwell's daughter, Ghislaine Maxwell, and her submarine piloting. Well, apparently, what some of these documents are hinting at, revealing, according to the Dark Journalist, is the Telemar, right? Telemar is Ghislaine
Terramar.
Maxwell.
Terramar.
Terramar, sorry. Telemar is something else. Terramar, thank you. So Terramar,
It's okay to
Ghislaine
turn Japanese,
Maxwell.
Ted.
Yeah. So the interests of this ocean company, ostensibly, is that they're, helping clean the ocean and yada yada. Well, Dark Journalist, he was saying that they were focusing in on this particular site off the coast of Cuba, and that's exactly where Edgar Casey talked about there being some sunken ruins from Atlantis, potentially the site where the actual crystal technology that allegedly, according to Edgar Casey, destroyed Atlantis in the end days of Atlantis. So Dark Journalist puts a lot of stock into that, and it was really interesting to hear his interpretations of the Epstein documents. But I mean, honestly, it's a lot. Everything else I've heard, it's a lot of the same stuff we heard when all this stuff came out. We're just getting the actual details of it.
Yeah, and the confirmation.
Right. It does feel like a lot of confirmation. So I haven't looked into it much myself. I've been really into this Jim Keith rabbit hole that I've been going down. And yeah, I'm curious, given this is, in honor of Ted, like how much, and I'm kind of looking through this book right now to see, I have a PDF on my phone here, and I'm wondering like if this author, Jim Keith, talks about Ted Kaczynski in this book about mind control. Like, to what degree do you guys know about Ted's relationship with mind control? Because I've only heard it suggested. I don't know like the actual details of what happened to him when he was at Harvard or MIT.
Well, he went in at a very young age, and the MK Ultra program that he was subjected to was one of totally breaking down the psyche through negative reinforcement. And the underlying thinking was, if you can reduce the individual to a complete puddle where it has no sense of self or self-worth, then you can mold it back up the way that you want it to perform. And I keep saying it because the dehumanization and the depersonalization was key to the programming. So Ted would have professors that would call him in after class and would subject him to the most like brutal deconstructions of his work and humiliation for, because he's coming in as a 16-year-old genius, right? Like, he's coming in as basically a prodigy. So they took somebody who overperformed in every aspect, at least educationally, of his life, and made him feel like he was less than worthy of even fucking cleaning the floors of the place, let alone being there to learn anything. And it was it was different than the rapid images and forced massive onset trauma that they were doing in other aspects of the MK program. And there were dozens, if not hundreds, of other people that were subjected to the exact same style that Kaczynski was. But what he knew that he was a very, very bright human being, but he was being told and shown that he was absolutely nothing, and it caused like a psychotic break, in that there was half of him that really was untethered genius, and there was half of him that was having a reaction to being told and shown that he was absolutely fucking nothing. So he began to develop an equal and opposite reaction to people who were in basic positions of managing the day-to-day functions of what was to become the era that we currently live in. And those are the people that wound up being targeted, because they were, if you look at it, it was Kaczynski never went after like the head of a corporation, never went after a head of state, never went after somebody who was a bloodline royalty. It was key operators in various positions that made it possible for what was to become the surveillance state to exist. Does that make any sense at all?
Yeah. You're spitting hot fire right now.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I I concur, and I'm glad you elaborated on that. It's reminding me again to go back to the Jim Keith stuff of this idea of man as a machine. They take this super genius and try to mind control him, and it doesn't work out as they plan. I mean, I still have a hard time believing Ted did any of the things that he was purported to do.
It
I've
is
heard
alleged,
there might have
certainly.
been, there might have been some foul play or some framing going on there.
And there's certainly a lot to discuss in terms of his brother, what his motivations may have been, family dynamics and all that kind of stuff. And look, me, I'm telling you the story as the story is told. I'm not telling you the story with my interpretations. Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of this is based on many interviews with Kaczynski over the years, and him telling his story the way that he wanted to tell it. But it's not like they shoved cameras in front of his former professors or a lot of classmates to figure any of this out. There was definitely a narrative to be presented post arrest that really doesn't seem to comport with the information that we have pre-arrest. So I agree, Ted Markelson. There are many questions.
It's interesting how the formula is still just the formula that they use today. It's a winning formula, and it might sound like it's something that's crazy and conspiratorial, but it's the same basic formula they use in boot camp. You get to boot camp, they tell you what a worthless piece of shit you are, and after telling you that for quite a while to where you really feel it, then they start telling you you're better than everybody else, because you're in this system and these other people haven't been through this system. So now you become superior to other people, and now you're greedily taking in that programming. You're like, yes, I am better.
And you were a maggot.
Yeah.
But because of this, you became something more than yourself, and now you're a part of an elite fighting force that very few people on the planet have ever had the privilege or the guts to attain.
Exactly. The system doesn't vary. Like, that one's just a winning formula. And just like with what happened with Ted in boot camp, you see the Section 8 guys every round of boot camp, you get 4 or 5 that they don't, the braking doesn't go correctly and they brake in the wrong direction, but mostly it works.
Seems like there was a lot of testing going on at that time, and I'd like to draw attention to that sketch photo. That first sketch photo might have been the first viral meme image.
I have something I can add, if I can read from this
book
here. So you guys know, maybe you don't know, actually, I don't know. I think I've talked to you, Steve, about this Ted, Steve's on your show. But Yale University, sort of subject of obsession of mine, just happens to be right at the crosshairs of how the machine got to where it was when Ted was rolled over and chewed up and spit out by it. So you guys have heard of Hegel, the Hegelian philosophy. I think the chat should go and look that one up too. All of you in the chat. You know why. Don't ask. But so Hegel was obviously a big part of this sort of the way the agenda is played out now psychologically on the masses. His philosophy made its way into a lot of these think tanks. But there's another figure whose name is Wundt, W-U-N-D-T. And his philosophy was also instrumental in this, what we now think of as the Prussian compulsory schooling system. But it was basically Yale that imported it into the United States through Skull and Bones and John Hopkins University in particular. So it says here, this information is all over the place. It's not just in this one book by Jim Keith, but it is relevant. So it says, in the middle of the 18th century, members of the Skull and Bones Society, following in the Prussian tradition, set in motion an American educational revolution that has subverted the entire system towards the goal of the New World Order. That man was Daniel Coit Gilman, first president of Johns Hopkins University and of the Carnegie Institution. Gilman studied Hegelian philosophy at the University of Berlin, and also at the University of Berlin at that time was, who I mentioned earlier, Wilhelm Wundt. And again, this was a guy who was a key figure in applying this style of psychology to the world, and it was later sort of even further developed through the Tavistock Institute, right? And the Tavistock Institute is interesting. One of the first modern uses of the phrase the invisible college was by the founder of the Tavistock Institute, a guy named Major John Rawlings Rees, who was a psychiatrist and he basically had a think tank, so to speak, of other psychiatrists that were in the military. And he called this his invisible college. And then this developed into what he dreamed of as building a society in which it is possible for any member of any social group to be treated psychiatrically without resort to legal means and even if they do not desire such treatment. What does that sound like to you guys? And Kurt Lewin, another very relevant player in maybe even Ted's What Happened to Ted, is he was a founder of the National Training Laboratories and a director at the Harvard Psychological Clinic. He was also one of the key players in creating the OSS, right? So, but Kurt Lewin, a German psychologist, by the way, maybe paperclip, I'm not sure. He was essentially behind the original Tavistock research into mass brainwashing and applying repeated trauma and torture for the purposes of mind control. So, and this was all happening like World War II, right? So, this then obviously was developed further and maybe even led up to what happened to our friend Ted.
Well, I think there's merit to that. I think that you could apply that broadly across the social or antisocial landscape over the last 15 to 20 years. I think, and I don't know Ted Markleton if we've talked about this before or not, but I think that Western society at large has been subjected to like a slow drip MK Ultra ing over the last 35, 40 years, and that all of the various different elements of entertainment and media and popular culture and all of that stuff is rooted in the collective, I guess, grand sanding of our gray matter and smoothing out all of those fissures, taking away all of the things that would make the synapses fire and make us think critically and make us maybe question what some of these narratives are, and various different things that have been introduced into the culture in order to enhance that, like the GATE program, have had a negative effect in that all of the GATE rejects kind of wound up in positions in society pointing out all of the bullshit. And it's been just a weird sort of constant knitting and unraveling on a cosmic and spiritual and meta, but very physical and very like 2 and 3 dimensional level too.
I mean, it gets really deep, and this is all stuff like I was just kind of talking about the original Tavistock stuff, but like that was just World War II, like then they get on to implants, psychotronic devices, ELF waves, all this different stuff that I'm, again, reading the work of a guy who was allegedly killed at Burning Man or as a result of an accident at Burning Man, Jim Keith. But in 1999, so like we're 25, 26 years ahead of that now. So what he was writing about then is probably accelerated 10 times that with what they can do with the technology. But I mean, and it's not even physical technology. It's intellectual technology. Like Dr. William Sargent here in his book, The Battle for the Mind, A Physiology of Conversion and Brainwashing, It says here, again, the idea is that the micro reflects the macro, the occultist dictum as above, so below. Sargent says various types of beliefs can be implanted in many people after brain function has been sufficiently disturbed by accidentally or deliberately induced fear, anger, or excitement. Of the results caused by such disturbances, the most common one is temporarily impaired judgment and heightened suggestibility. Its various groups' manifestations are sometimes classed under the heading of herd instinct and appear most spectacularly in wartime during severe epidemics and in all similar periods of common danger, which increase anxiety and so individual and mass suggestibility. So yeah, maybe they needed a guy like Ted to foolproof this kind of stuff on back then, and now they're really turning up the levers, so to speak. I don't know.
Well, yeah, and it's been turned up to the point to where you've got a segment of American culture that maybe it's a third of the overall population, maybe approaching 40%. Maybe I'm being gracious with those numbers, but you've got, let's say, a third of the population that engages in red team, blue team sports stuff, and they're just hardwired to react, knee jerk, emotional, programmed, visceral, viral. That and that's their inherent function in this industrial society, is to be that reactionary third. Then you've got a third that has to go to work regardless. It doesn't matter who's screaming about what, or who got shot, or who got, given this, or what the machine still has to function. Trash has to get picked up. Water has to flow. Electricity has to flow. Then you've got the third that are either a part of like the leisure class, where they're the people that are kind of funding the chaos or reporting on the chaos from very comfortable studios, where they get driven in cars to those studios, and then a car will drive them to dinner afterwards, and then a car will take them home. And then the rest of that is like us, where we're like, all of this is fake and GHEY, right? I don't know what we can say on YouTube. I don't know. It's a new censor every day.
Unfortunately, not your favorite word.
Right. It's not even, it's just the one that is most euphonious in the moment. It's the best and most descriptive. And
all I'm saying is, if I have a bingo card, that is going to be and it's on shit Steve says.
Yeah.
That is going to be the centerpiece of the bingo card, because I'm motherfucking sure that one's getting said.
Rainbow.
I would have picked man, dang. There's a lot I'd pick before that, but I'd put it on the card. I would. I'd put it at like an I-17. Guaranteed that's gonna happen. I don't even remember where I was. I don't. Ted Markleton, it is a pleasure to see you again, my friend. It really is. And I don't even mind that, like, the last 7 times I've had you booked on my show, you've just flaked and ghosted and not shown up. Like, that's not a problem for me at all. I, in fact, wasn't even going to bring it up tonight, but I did just remember that over and over and over, even though we're friends and you tell me that we're friends, you frequently book yourself on my show and ghost me.
I'm here to tell you I'm sorry. As Ted Markelson, I'm here to tell you I'm sorry. And that every single time I did that, a tear
You're
came from
one
my
of
eye,
my
and I
favorites. I
realized I
thought we
was
were
fucking up.
cool, dude. I did. But I know it's early, but you're 3 hours in the future ahead of me. Like early for me and early for you are two totally different things, homeboy.
Now,
Ask
be
Ben.
fair,
Look,
when
look
Steve started
deeply.
the AM show, he woke up for at least the first month of it late every day, and he had a wake up mantra that was just fuck, 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 fuck.
Now you're saying it.
Yeah,
No, that's not the F
Steve,
word.
Yeah, we don't have a swear jar
look into
tonight.
my eyes and see that I'm sorry that I did that to you.
I love you, boo.
'Cause
I do. I love you.
So we'll be back on the air down there in the early mornings. Don't worry, I'll get you. I'll come down. It's not easy for me. I've been doing a lot this past 6 months. Whew, what a
Look, you're making
whirlwind.
moves, man. You're making moves. I'm not stressing you. I'm just stressing you. It's all right.
But
It
every
is.
time,
It's okay. We're all friends.
every time I missed, you asked me back or I asked to come back. That's saying something.
Right? Right? We're both dumb. Is what-
I'll drink to that.
Goodness.
I'm drinking milk. How dumb is that?
So psychotronic truth
I drink
serum
milk.
tonight.
That's good.
Actually, this
Feeling it.
was milk. That's you can see it. Can you get to it? Yep. there
I
it
had
is.
a guest on my show tell me that vitamin D is the same thing as rat poison. It's just a different dosage. And I realized a couple weeks ago that the milk I've been drinking has vitamin D added to it. And I'm like,
It's
holy
the
shit.
D3, right?
Oh,
The
Yeah, I think-
D3 or the D3A?
I think it's the D3A or if is
It's
it D3?
me and Rantcast did a whole thing on this a couple of years ago on AM Wake Up, and we broke down the difference and then like tried to make a legitimate push to get people over to A2 milk and stuff that would be, you know, a little bit more reasonable and less rat poison E, but there's a specific D3, I think it's D3A, almost positive, and that's the
Yeah.
specific compound, and it does show up in a lot of commercial like the extra pasteurized 2% or 1% milks. Whole
Wow.
milks in general don't have the D3A,
Okay. Good.
but
I'm whole milk
once
only.
you-
I've always known that there's something up with the 1 and 2%. Like that never made sense to me. Even as a kid, I was like, 1% of what?
What is this
Yeah.
fucking
You know.
pus? Why is this watery? What is this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
F
Right?
the 2%.
Well, that's comforting, Steve. You just saved my ass there.
It's all credit goes to Texas Slim and the Beef Initiative and the ranchers and farmers that work with those guys that have really
Well,
put a lot.
That
my
kind of
head.
reminds me of what I was interrupted saying before is like, you know, in addition to the podcast stuff I do, I also try to get out in the world. And one of the jobs I've had, one of my odd jobs that I do, is creating this garden stonescaping project for a friend that's whose house I'm at right now. And part of the reason why I was very bad at making I missed all those podcasts because I've just been working on this project here, and it's a lot of fun to be in the land. And anybody who wants to go off the grid, I would encourage them to do it the right way and look up earthships.com. And you can build your own house out of recycled materials. And they have all the blueprints and all the education you would need to know how to do it. You can even go and learn in person if you're the type of person who needs hands-on. But if you're like me, I just want the instructions, and I'll do it hands-on myself. So once I started reading about this Earthship stuff, I got pretty excited. Not that I have any property to build on right now, but the project that I'm doing is, steps in that direction. So it's an extension of the podcast and talking to really cool people like yourselves. And, when Ben's on the podcast, we talk about like the alchemy of the cannabis he grows, and all these different conversations that I've had with people on my show have inspired me to be like, you know what, yeah, why am I not taking these ideas that I'm learning from my guests and applying them to things I can physically do? Another thing is like upcycling clothing, recycling clothing, because fast fashion is a huge source of pollution. And not to mention, if you're wearing plastics on your body, it's really bad for you. Like, I didn't notice it until I started getting rashes on my feet from certain socks that I was wearing. And I replaced all my socks. I just threw them all out and just bought 100% organic cotton socks. And my feet feel great ever since
Dude,
I did that. And
you
I
gotta
thought,
try
well,
alpaca socks, bro. You gotta try alpaca
yeah,
socks.
the wool,
I mean,
it's wool.
the hair. Oh my god, socks on your
Yeah,
alpaca.
I'll give it a
on
shot.
your
Any
feet,
organic, yeah,
amazing.
any fiber that comes from the earth, I'm all for it.
Have
I'm
you
not particular.
discovered the glory of bamboo undies yet,
See, I'm not sure about bamboo. There seems to be some
bro?
kind of trickery going on there,
No,
but
man.
It's
I'll
like
look
an
into it.
angel hugging your crotch.
There's some
Yeah, it's good.
reliable fucking companies that make bamboo draws, and they're fantastic. Fantastic.
Okay, I'll give it a shot.
Treat yourself and get the one with the flaps for your nuts so they don't stick to the inside of your
Well, yeah,
thigh.
you should
Yeah.
have like a separate ball pouch and
Yeah.
dick sling.
Yeah.
Like that's I don't know why we haven't had that with draws for fucking ever. Like
Yeah.
it seems like the most like rational thing to design. Like these go here, and then you have a separate little fucking
Yeah. Well,
little
now
cradle.
that I have a
little
sewing
cock
machine
cradle.
and I know how to use it, I'll just buy a bigger size and then sew the waistband tighter, so then it's more room and then it's tighter waistband. I'm a slim
Right,
guy,
you're like
so
8'40", dude. You probably have different problems than we
Yeah,
do.
that's
Yeah.
true.
I'm stretched out. Let's just say that I'm
Right.
stretched
Yeah.
out. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like Owen Benjamin, freakish tall.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
very tall. So sometimes I'll take like a pair of pants that's made for like a big, tall, fat man, and I'll take the waistband down to like the size that I can fit. And then the legs actually are big enough to fit me. But yeah, just doing stuff like that like keeps me grounded, and as much as I love podcasting, it's definitely nice to take a break from being in the digital world all the time. Like I live stream once a week and podcast at least 2 to 3 times a week, so I definitely have to balance that out with. It's not a lot of work. Don't get me wrong. I'm not complaining, but I got to balance that out with actual work, like the masonry stuff I do. Sometimes I go down and help my friend with stone masonry projects, and so I'm always doing something. But you got to do that kind of stuff, otherwise you freaking lose your
Illuminati
mind.
confirmed.
I feel bad for people who have an office job. Like, what can you do to keep yourself busy? You're sitting at a fucking desk all the time, probably listening to a podcast like this. And if that's the case, God bless you.
Right, we hope.
Going to the gym. That's why all those guys, like, when they always ask, what do you do at the gym? How much? Like, I don't go to a gym. I go outside and do stuff. Like, I'm not sure how much I can bench press, but I can haul a hay bale that weighs as much as I do up and down a mountain, like, and do it every day.
Right.
So I don't know what you want me to say.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And like furniture too. I've been reselling furniture. This couch I'm sitting on, got it off Facebook Marketplace for free. I'm going to fix it up and resell it for some money, stuff like that.
Is that
It's kinda
Amish
fun.
furniture?
This is honestly what Ted's biggest problem was. that Ted didn't, he felt like he could leave the system without doing something to provide for himself. And this is where he really started falling into problems, because that's when he had to go back to work for his brother and things like that. It's when you do little projects like that, which one of the keys to living off grid, the very first thing I would say and most important is cut down to your necessities. Most people don't realize how rich they live, how very luxuriously they live. And when you get down
You
to
guys, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but you just
You're the
sparked
guest,
a
though.
question. Do you think that the whole Ted Kaczynski story got blown up to those proportions to kind of you know, throw sort of bad light on people who live off the grid? Because, you know, in the 60s, a lot of people were planning, you know, communities, intentional communities, and some of them definitely devolved into cults, and that's a bad thing for sure. But like the Earth ships I just mentioned earlier, like there's tons of examples of where it doesn't turn into a cult and devolve into something negative. And maybe Ted Kaczynski is you know, one of these stories that they spin out of control to cast a
like the
bad
guy
light
in the
on
bus in
anybody who,
Alaska. You
yeah,
can't
yeah, like
help
then
me
now
on the
anybody,
bus.
Into the wild.
yeah, anybody who
yeah.
has a sort of you know, fringe relationship with society is now cast in this bad light, when really, yeah, going off the grid could be a really healthy choice for some people. I spoke to a woman recently on my podcast who had no choice but to go off the grid because she suffers from extreme electromagnetic frequency sensitivity, and the only thing that helps her sleep at night is literally sleeping in a Faraday cage that her and her
Wow.
boyfriend constructed. And you know, I've talked to psychologists who will tell you that that's like a placebo effect, and like that is induced by their own trauma. And sure, that may be the case, but if they're getting comfort from sleeping in a Faraday cage and they can actually like take a meter with them where they go and actually notice the difference, like I don't know, to me it felt like there is a like a physical reason to go off the grid in that case, you know. And again, we don't want to be so isolated that we're without a community, because that's definitely not healthy for people either. But there's tons of examples. I would say, you know, the ones that don't devolve into a cult, like you know, how does that happen? That's what we should explore. You know, how to have a small community that doesn't turn into a cult.
Well,
There is a
the-
huge thing about that Faraday cage. I got an EMF meter, and I was running around the house checking out where the signals were pretty high. And right in the bedroom, there were like on the outside of the bedroom wall is a smart meter, you know, the electrical meter, and it was just off the charts, like right next to my bed. And so my wife and I got Faraday paint. We painted 3 coats of Faraday paint all over in the bedroom. And like now you go in there and it's like almost nothing. Like you can't even get
Wow.
a cell phone signal in the bedroom. Like every once in a while, we used to, when we first painted it, we get in there and start to like look something up in bed, and it just wouldn't work. The phone didn't even work. And we're like, wow, this is great. And it's a really
Yeah.
peaceful sleep now in there compared
Oh
to
yeah.
what it was before. I mean, before I even had the modem in there, the Wi-Fi modem. So it was just like crazy how
Yeah.
much we don't realize is hitting.
I
us.
live in an old building with lead paint on the walls still. I'm almost certain, because I don't get a good signal when I'm inside, like the away from the windows. And yeah, I've
That's a
gotten the
blessing.
best sleep I've ever had
Do
living
you
in
think,
that apartment.
Ted Markleton, do you think there's anything to the theory that the removal of lead from all of the buildings and the paint had less to do with public health and more to do with the ease of surveillance?
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense to me. I mean, as far as proving it, I'm sure there's someone who can find documents that would prove that. But where would we look? I mean, I don't know if it would even be the government. It seems like it would be like the the telecommunications companies who have like a huge monopoly.
Right, Brian?
Right, the phone systems are pretty much owned by one company, so I would imagine it'd be some kind of efficiency protocol for them, and they just had a Edward Bernays style of way of getting it through to the public, because they couldn't say, oh, actually we need these energy signals to beam through every part of your building. People might have questions about, well, wait, if it's going through the wall, what's it going to do to my body? So yeah, I think, yeah, you're onto something there for sure. Just intuition alone would tell anyone, maybe aside from that all caps guy in the chat earlier, anyone with a brain.
When I first moved off grid, and this was an accidental experiment, I was incubating chicks, and because I live off grid, I have very limited plugins that work just part of the day. So I put one was in my main house, and then I actually slept out in a Winnebago, and my kids slept in the house. So one was in Winnebago with me. The one in the house, one of the other things plugged in was the Wi-Fi router. And the incubator next to the Wi-Fi, and they both held 48 eggs. The one next to the Wi-Fi, none of the chicks hatched except for 3. And of the 3, 2 of them were just horribly deformed immediately. Wow. One of them had scissor beak so bad it couldn't close its mouth.
I remember.
And, yep. Steve was around for this. We were friends. And so in order to, I was like, wow, that's wild. So I went out to my chicken coop and grabbed about 100 eggs, and I put them in the incubators, and I switched the incubators in case it was going to be the actual incubator itself, and put the one that had all the dead and fucked up chicks into my Winnebago and put the other one in the plug-in next to the router. And then that one, about 45 of them eggs didn't hatch, and then it had a couple chicks that were extremely deformed and didn't make it. And the one in my Winnebago, which is, outside the building in a Winnebago off to the side away from the router, that one, it would, you always get a couple eggs that don't hatch, but probably 45 of those were live and fine.
That's crazy. Makes sense though.
To me, it's the epitome of the canary in the coal mine. That's why you took a bird down in the coal mine with you, because that bird would get affected way quicker and cause it a problem before you. And that's what happened. It's the Wi-Fi. I imagine those developing tiny little birds, it was fucking them all up, and it's definitely fucking you up. You're just surviving it.
Yeah. Good reason for people to not live in a 15-minute city or go with all this smart technology. But there are workarounds. I mean, like Ted Gemsworthy said, there's Faraday paint, and you could build a Faraday cage. There's all sorts of workarounds for sure.
Move off the grid.
We like workarounds.
Yeah, they're getting harder, especially in California. They're starting to do shit like this new carbon tax that they're trying to do, where they're literally going to tax you based on how many miles you drive, and tax your vehicle. That's fucking insane, right? So now everybody that lives in the 15-minute city that manages to put on 1,000 miles a year on their car, they're like, sweet. And then me, it's an hour for me to get to the shitty town that I can go to get a few supplies, but to really go shopping, it's 2 hours away. Like that's just to go basic shopping. Everywhere I got to go, it's a long ways, and all that's doing is absolutely making it unlivable in these outer spaces where people want to start moving in as if that wasn't already happening. And the fact that
you need
fire insurance.
What if you needed to order something online? Like, what's the protocol for that? Does anything even get shipped to?
It will get shipped to the post office, and they won't come up to me.
Right.
I have to go down to
Right,
the
you gotta
post
go get it.
office. Yeah,
Ted Bennington, did you just get a package?
I did. I was not sure if we could have done that at the beginning of the show. But one of our
It's proof
One of
that
our
the
people,
delivery
Diane.
works.
fancy.
What is it?
This is a soundboard, especially when I'm on panels where we're arguing with each other or debating. Things get more heated than they do with us, where we only overtalk each other when we're being goofballs usually and excited. On panels, they overtalk each other a lot, and I get badly overtalked, and everybody can hear everything else. All my setup's just horrible, I guess. So I'm told. Marcus said my setup sucks.
It
but
does. It was bad.
Yeah, it's all bad.
Bad.
But Diane sent this. We can't thank you enough. We are gonna
Thank you, Diane.
Yeah, thanks, Diane. Where did she find out about that?
on my Amazon wish list. I was told to make an Amazon wish list, so I did. And we still have a better microphone because this one I have won't plug into that.
Sure.
And
upgrading the workflow. Very good.
And then Edda got us a new keyboard and mouse, which neither of mine worked because the cat pissed on it, or one cat.
They won't let me put a Toyota Hilux on my Amazon wish list, so I'm pretty assed out as far as that goes.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Put it on your
Right.
guys'
Shipping
Christmas wish
container
list.
full of EMP guns. That's not something they let you put on your Amazon wish list. Although, if anybody has the schematics for an EMP gun, you can send them to amwakeup@protonmail.com. And I would love to take a look.
All my stuff is just stuff for the show that I got on there. I'm tempted to put some boots or
Yeah.
tempted to put boots
Boots.
on there, but
Right? Yeah. If anybody knows anybody that resoles boots, I want to freaking talk to you because I have a pair of boots that I love that need resoled.
They've all died.
I
all the
walked through them.
cobblers. I know.
Cobblers. Yeah.
They all
Cob-
passed
Yes.
away, and nobody else is doing it.
I
This is
know.
my
man.
neck of the woods.
All of these
Sucks.
skills are going to be becoming even more valuable.
Yeah. Or make your own shoes. I'm making a pair of moccasins right now. Just getting ready to sew the
Nice.
sole onto the bottom.
nice.
My first
You know
time.
what? You
working
know what? I'll have to go out and get you some of my thirds and send you some thirds. Because alpaca hair felt super easy.
Oh,
And
shit.
another guy I know that makes moccasins, he would take felted wool and put it in as like a sole and just cut it out in the shape, and it made the moccasins so much more comfortable. It was real nice, and because it's just hair, it's not adding weirdness to it.
Yeah.
You're still getting the full natural feeling and everything. So
Yeah. It's just hair.
yeah.
That'd be great. Still trying to figure out what to line it with. I was going to use wool, but sheep's wool, but it's too thick. I mean, unless I make a bigger pair of boots. They're
Yeah,
inside
no,
out right
I'll
now.
send you a bag. I'll send you a bag of thirds, Jim, and you can just felt it.
Oh, sweet. Cool. Thanks.
Yeah, the thirds is when you're shearing an alpaca, it's not like a sheep, it's not all equal hair. Actually, the hair around its stomach and back is basically there's like a band, and that's called the blanket, and that's the most prized hair. And then the stuff on their hips, on their low front and back hips is called seconds, and then the thirds is like their neck hair and their leg hair and stuff like that.
So you just kind of rub it together or put it
Oh,
on.
dude, it's so easy to felt. It's hard. In fact, you have to be real careful with it not to felt it. Like when you're cleaning it and stuff, you can't use an agitating washer. You can't use hot water with hot water. Well, you can to clean it eventually, but not at first. after you've straightened it, you can, but at first, alpaca hair actually opens up in heat and opens. And so then that really makes it bind. And it's like, oh yeah, now we're sticking to each other all day. Off-grid stuff. If you guys don't know this stuff,
Yeah.
I understand that the system is falling. And again, just like cutting back with your expenses to the things that are bare needs, those are the things you need to figure out how to supply for yourself. We all need to eat. We all need heat. We all need shelter. We all need clothes, water.
I would suggest there's
No.
a lot of stuff online that you can watch about it, but that's not guaranteed to be around forever. I mean,
Yeah.
we could have an EMP tomorrow that knocks down the internet for God knows how long, and then what are you going to do?
Manuals.
So it's,
Yeah.
you know,
That's why you need some books.
get some books.
One of my repair manuals.
Yeah. Yeah, I was at the used bookstore the other day, and you wouldn't believe how many how-to books they had. Like all these books, you know, from like it looked like 80s era, like magazines, homeowner magazines. They put out like how to sew, how to macrame, how to etc. But all these, you know, woodworking, like all up on the books, even if you don't have a project, you know.
Oh yeah.
Ted would do it. Now, let me ask you this, Ted Bennington. Do you milk your alpacas? Are they milkable?
No, the alpacas, we have cows that for milking, but the alpacas, they don't really have, honestly, they have the smallest udders I've ever seen on like an animal that
Okay.
size. Like they barely get a bag. The two things that they're good for is their fiber is world famous. It's
Right.
extraordinarily expensive, fantastic stuff. And then their poop is fucking magical, bro. It's magical. Like, so your normal animals, like a cow or a sheep, they rip the plant up out of the ground and they eat the whole plant. So their poop is very nitrogen heavy, and that's why it's hot. Okay. Now an alpaca, they don't have top teeth. They only have one set of teeth, and their upper lip is split. So they all look like they got a hair lip, and they grab onto leaves with them lips and rip the leaf off. And they don't eat the stalk. They don't eat the root, none of it. So their poop is not hot. You can literally take their poop the minute they poop it out and go throw it on your plants, and your plants are like, oh my God, thank you. Like it does not destroy your soil at all. So and if you look it up, alpaca poop, like little bitty freeze-dried bags of it are like $20. Like it's crazy expensive. Yeah. Fantastic stuff.
Yeah, my landlord has alpacas. I think I need to start asking him to send me some shit.
Yeah. Oh, dude, you take all that shit you can get. And I tell you what, like I grow my cannabis in it, and people freaking lose their mind over it. I've had actually numerous people come and try and get whole barrels of shit from me. Like,
Wow.
it's
Maybe
just
that's part of that. You know, they're South American animals. Maybe that's a part of how the Amazon rainforest got that way. You know, they say shit rolls downhill.
Yeah. Yeah. It sure does. And alpaca
They're
sure.
up on the mountains there. Yeah.
Yeah, I just make my own tea. I just fill up. I got a cement mixer, and I fill it up with alpaca shit, and I throw in a scoop of chicken shit, and then I make some activated carbon, and I chuck that in there, and little humic acid and some usually some seaweed, and that's just all I feed my garden. Molasses, yeah, to get the biome going. Throw a little fungi and bacteria in there and give that some food.
Yeah, we got to do another episode with you, Ben, and talk about Ted Bennington and talk about the secrets of the garden, the alchemy of gardening. Because every time we talk, you're always breaking this stuff down in such a way that's very. I like it. It's wholesome. It speaks to me.
I appreciate it, Ted Markleton. when I have missed you.
You know,
but-
there's not many people that can tell me about hot or cold poop and make it interesting.
That's true. That's true.
Did Uncle Ted use manure?
Uncle Ted did not do near enough for himself, and that was his problem. He built a cabin, but he didn't try to be self-sufficient.
That's the thing. He was a victim of the mind control system. Like, he was not
Yeah.
somebody who was ready
was
to
a-
take care of themselves in a fully conscious, healthy way.
That was a broken individual who knew enough to know that he wanted to get the fuck out.
Yeah.
And he knew like various ways how to do that. But yo, if you're going up to the wilds of the Pacific Northwest or Idaho or Montana, any of that, it takes a little bit more prep.
Yeah.
It
Mhm.
does. It takes a little bit more planning. And if
I
you
couldn't
get,
imagine doing it where I live. I mean, it's
Oh,
cold
yeah.
as shit right now.
yeah. No, and
Oh,
it's
dude.
like angry East Coast Atlantic cold. That's like the cold shows up and it's wearing 2 gold chains and a black t-shirt, and it's just overly menacing for no reason. It doesn't have to be. Doesn't have to be that cold. It doesn't have to be that icy. It just wants to be out of pure spite.
And the damn problem is living like this is it only happens in remote areas. So if you don't know how to do a lot of things by yourself, then you're SOL. In any given week, I have to repair a generator, go fix my water system, go out and chop wood, which includes repairing my chainsaw, taking care of all that stuff. Like, I'm just a constant. I know people just watched a video of me doing this on the chainsaw, but here I am, another igniter. You know, that this one isn't for my chainsaw, but it's every damn day. It's fixed.
What happened to
fucking
the igniters?
The damn this is weird as shit. I'd like you to hear this anyways, Mark. In about a 2-week period, 6 igniters. So the way a normal small gas engine works is this is magnetized. Here, I'll take this rubber band off so you can see this better. This is magnetized, and then it sits over a wheel that's on your crankshaft that also has a little magnet in it. And when the two pass each other, it creates a spark, and that's what drives your spark plug. Well, in a 2-week period, I had 6 of these demagnetized.
Different.
Is there
And
like are you
different
suggesting
piece of
there's a
equipment.
magnetic anomaly of some kind in your area?
It's got to be. I can't think of any other reason. I had 2 chainsaw ones go out, 2 generators ones go out, and this is all at the same time. And then I had 2 more go out right after.
In the middle of a cluster of earthquakes.
Yeah, in the middle of a cluster of earthquakes. And all of a sudden, all my
Wow.
none of my magnetos work anymore.
Yeah, there are
they're-
definitely magnetic anomalies associated with earthquakes for sure. Have you guys heard, and I know this is going to sound ridiculous, but have you guys heard about this NASA report about a gravity anomaly that's going to occur this year, where they say that things are spontaneously going to start just floating? But anything that's not like secured to the ground is going to begin to float because gravity, there's going to be some sort of gravity anomaly for like a period of 20 seconds.
Is this including a pole shift or some shit?
I don't know, but this podcast YouTube show Ninjas Are Butterflies had a pretty interesting reel about it, and that's as far as I looked into it because it seemed pretty ridiculous.
No,
I don't
but
think- I don't-
what
know.
it does coincide with what's supposed to be a completion of the pole shifts, but I've seen like a whole bunch of different conflicting reports on when a specific time frame or set date for that is. But yeah, I've heard about it, but I've only heard about it from like a couple of corners, and I don't know enough about like the mechanics behind it to be like, oh, that's real or oh, that's bullshit.
So do you guys find this odd at the same timing of the whole Greenland thing?
I don't know. Why? What does Greenland have to do with gravity and magnetism?
Well, where
Well,
are
if
the
the
poles?
pole shifting, that would be the center of one of
Oh,
them, and there's
yes.
a lot of that. There's a lot
Well,
of
yeah,
different
well,
things.
Greenland's
Actually,
really big, though.
yeah, it's a good sized place. Yeah, no doubt.
The landmass is nearest
I don't
the
know.
North
Maybe,
Pole.
yeah, maybe they want Greenland because there's some sort of advantage to being up there after the pole shifts. Who knows? Maybe they. I mean, as far as I know, the Arctic Ocean is underneath the North Pole, and it's
Yeah,
all ice for the most part. There's not like a landmass, but there is the mythological and the esoteric information about Mount Meru that's allegedly there. This, all, magnetic mountain. I don't know how true that is, but maybe there is something to that where when the ice melts, you want to have some sort of strategic position to
being in the
get
eye of
Mount
the
Meru.
hurricane type situation, where if there's just an electric storm, like that would be in the eye area, and that's where you would.
Well, one thing I have read on the geopolitical nature of the North Pole is that as the ice melts, if it is going to continue to melt, and I think what we're seeing there is, we're getting the veiled climate change narrative over the real truth that our Earth is leaving a sort of small ice age, and the planet is going to be warming, but it's not because of anything humans are doing. It's just the nature of the fluctuations of the Earth as it revolves through wherever we're moving through space, according to this, geophysics science. Take it for what it's worth. But geopolitically speaking, if the ice does melt, now you have a very convenient travel way between Russia and North America, right? And Europe and North America sort of opens up some travel between these continents that never really is. I mean, it's sort of possible. I think they have icebreaker ships that can kind of navigate around the major ice pieces, but for the most part, it would shorten the length of a trip between Asia and North America if that all melted up there in the North Pole.
It's pretty interesting if you look on Google Earth at Greenland. There, it's like all it's all just white. Like it looks like they're blocking whatever's actually there with just whiteness. Like you look at other areas where there's like on the coast, there's kind of like you can see like the land and sort of some features, but then it just goes just like all white. There's no texture at all.
According to them, there's an 18-mile ice sheet over the island. There are, like, if you look, there's
18 miles
topographical. That's
Yeah.
what they claim
Holy fuck!
between surface and underneath the ice sheet. They claim 18 miles.
There's old maps with actual geographic terrain in them on that landmass, and according to some maps, there's a channel that goes across, like the southern from east to west in the southern tip. There's a river, like sort of or canal type of thing that goes across, and actually in some
Yeah.
older maps, there's even two canals.
Well, yeah, I mean, according to some maps, Greenland itself is just perimeter barrier islands around a massive fucking water source right in the middle.
Interesting.
Like it's not even a landmass. The ice on top of it is what's created the landmass, But if you put, I don't know, 25 data centers on Greenland, within a handful of years, you'd figure out what was under there pretty quick. You would.
When I've got
And
to
I
imagine
think
all
that's
you-
the goal. I think that's part of the plan.
I got to imagine all you guys have heard the stories of the northern gods coming out of the north during certain time periods, and that it gets locked up during others.
Yeah.
And that's where they return to.
Well, and if the overland surveys are to be believed, Greenland itself is sitting on a virtual treasure trove of rare earth minerals and all of the things that are going to make the fourth industrial revolution and the Great Reset possible.
Yeah. But it definitely has to have a climate shift in order for that to happen, or something.
And the only way to do that without a pole shift would be to place data centers or something that would burn H2O at the rate that data centers do in order to cool it down and expose mineable terrain.
Space-based lasers can melt the ice. James Bond villain style. Die another day.
Jewish
I'm not-
lasers?
I think it's going to have to shift quite a bit just to even build the data centers if you're going to do that, because the way it is now, like if you talk to like anybody that does work up in Canada, for like 8 months out of the year, it's unworkable. You can't even use equipment. It's just your equipment breaks. You can't. I'm from South Dakota, and 100%. There's times when it's negative and the wind chill is like -80. And you're driving along, and all of a sudden the fucking mirror just goes snap and goes whipping down the side of the road. You're like, and you didn't even hit nothing. You're just like, oh, parts are flying off my car now. And that's just what happens when shit gets cold. It just gets brittle. What am I missing over here?
I'm not buying all the ice. 18 miles. There's probably hot springs or something, or
There's
Okay.
got to be thermal springs in multiple places over there. There has to be. They exist uniformly at that latitude. It's not even a fucking if there's. It's a where are they type of thing. But yeah, no, I mean, the 18 miles thing, I'm sure that's somebody being like, oh, we tested it at its deepest, and from the highest peak to the lowest part of it, that's 18 miles. But it is going to take significant cooling in order to get down to drillable space in a ton of places.
Like to put it into perspective, 8 miles deep is the deepest we've ever drilled into the earth.
Yeah.
That was a epic project that took forever to do, horribly expensive, and they just gave up on it.
That was
They're
Eminem out of
like,
Detroit.
"Yeah, we can't drill anymore. We're done."
Antarctica.
No, that was in Russia. I think it's in
Oh.
Siberia.
I thought that was
Russia
Antarctica
did it.
with the Russians.
Yeah.
They found an ancient lake down there or something with microbes in it that were 30,000 years old or something like that.
Isn't that the lake with the swastika in it? Swastika Lake.
Lake Titicaca.
No, but the reason we sing the song is because we love saying the name.
Yeah.
We do
Yeah.
love saying the name.
MISSISSIPPI.
I don't, Lucy, I don't necessarily think the 3i Atlas stuff. I think that's kind of like we were saying when Markleton was talking earlier about the idea of UFOs being more interdimensional or some idea like that, where there's actually always in our atmosphere, just maybe not at the same vibration as us or some such thing. Before the 3i Atlas, they never talked about seeing any spaceships out in space. So I find this all of a sudden they're like, oh yeah, now we see a spaceship. Look, it's doing spaceship stuff. Sometimes.
Well, that would be a good threat to unite people under a world peacekeeping organization to keep the bugs out.
Sure. I'm doing my part.
We're doing our
bless
part
you.
to subscribe to YouTube channels. My Family Thinks I'm Crazy and Kurt Metzger Comedy. What's up with the Kurt Metzger Comedy?
I don't know if Mark heard you.
Right?
He's smiling.
No, what did I miss?
Yeah, My Family Thinks I'm Crazy on YouTube and Kurt Metzger Comedy. Those are the two YouTube channels.
I
to
think I'm
subscribe
having
to.
that same issue I had before where I'm not hearing. Yeah,
Oh,
because
no.
if you guys are hearing him,
Yeah,
Yeah,
refresh
we hear
again.
him.
you guys are hearing Ted Allen. I'm not hearing him. I saw his mic moving or his mouth.
Yeah.
moving. Hold on.
I hear Ted Allen all the time.
Mark Steves, everybody. Good to have him on board. Good to have him back with us.
He'll be back.
Always a
he's not-
rocking good time.
Well, he's not here. Are we saying Merkelton?
Duly
That was
honored.
happening to me a number of times. I think it might be a StreamYard issue because
It is. Yeah.
Yeah,
guys
it's
in-
only when I'm using my iPhone. I apologize. Next time I'm on the show, I'll be in my studio. It'll be good. But I can hear you now, Ted Allen.
Yeah, we were asking what's up with the Kurt Metzger Comedy YouTube channel. What is your involvement with that? And you have the
So-
My Family Thinks I'm Crazy YouTube channel as well.
Yeah. So I've been working with Sam Tripoli for a while, and big fan of Kurt Metzger. I think the first time I ever did a pod with Kurt Metzger was thanks to Steve here, Ted Steves. But
You're welcome.
yeah, I heard Kurt
Bringing people
on
together.
exactly. I heard Kurt on a podcast somewhere saying, "Oh, I've got a new podcast called The Derp with Kurt," and I'm like searching for it, and I'm like, I can't find it. And I hear him mention it again. I search for it, I can't find it. So I'm like, what the hell? So I figured out how to reach out to him. I reach out to him, and I said, "Hey, buddy, your podcast doesn't exist. Let me help you make it exist." And he said he needed a producer, and I said I could do it. So I did it, and now we've done
Nice.
like 20 something episodes, and I'm not particularly a co-host. I do chime in here and there. I mean, Kurt is such a mind of his own and a genius in his own right. Like, there's nothing I can say. He's just going at a mile a
Look.
minute. And
Yeah.
Look. We all like
occasionally I'll
Kurt.
jump
We
in.
all like Kurt, Mark. But come on. Listen,
No,
fucking
I'm just
genius.
saying. Look,
I know this motherfucker. All right, let's not
That's not what I
fucking.
meant. I meant like the stuff he's talking about. It's just out there, and it's like I don't feel like I
I
want to
love
in the way
him.
of
I
it.
do. I love him.
You get what I'm trying to say? He's like,
No. Look,
Give
I
him the
will say this,
microphone,
man.
and he
I will
just-
say this. There was a vacuum in like a bridge between mainstream entertainment and where we all hang out, and a 6'4" bug-eyed psycho jumped into that vacuum and said, "I claim this as Kerplandia." And
I
we're
mean, have
all
you
fucking
seen-
better off for it. We're all better off for it.
listen,
I want to make that perfectly clear, dude. Like, no, this is somebody
I'm
I
not
talk
gonna-
to on a weekly fucking basis. Yeah, I love Kurt Metzger. I
I'm
do.
not gonna take anything I said back unless you tell me you've heard him do the Jeffrey Mishlove impression and then tell me he's not a genius. Okay,
You know,
now
look,
tell me.
I'm just saying. Out of all the people that are actual geniuses in this space, and I love Kurt, I wouldn't curse him with that title. I wouldn't. I
Right.
think that he would be much
You're
happier.
right to point that out. That was a little, I need to be more. There's hubris there. So, but no, I think it's just one of those things where when Kurt starts talking, I'm just like, what the? Where is he going with this? Right. So that's where I feel like I'm not really a co-host. I just
Buddy,
kind of let
He's going to New
happen.
Thinking Aloud with Jeffrey Mishlove. He's
the,
going to
that?
meet his idols. He's going to New Thinking Aloud with Jeffrey Mishlove. He's going to meet his idols.
the random
What?
fucking phone
Impersonation there.
calls that I get from Kurt or the random text messages are like, hey, why is this person important to this and how does it relate to that? And fucking tell me, faggot. Sorry, we're on YouTube, but it's a quote. It's a quote. It's a quote. You know,
Yeah.
and then I'm like, Kurt, it's like 11:45 at night, and I'm trying to go to bed. Like, I'll get you after my show tomorrow. You know, but it's always like a very, very specific yet very random. How do these 2 or 3 things connect and why? Tell me, or I'll show up at your doorstep kind of thing. And he is a menacing fella.
One of
Yeah.
the interesting things, side effects that his show has had. So Kurt has a fascination with Tracy Twyman
Yeah.
and talks about Tracy Twyman a lot. Well, Ted Gemsworthy was actually her co-host for at the end of her life for quite some time, and they
The
get
RX
more
only
views-
picture show.
they get more views on those episodes than they did when they were produced.
Yep.
I actually have never heard Kurt mention the RX only picture show, so I was curious if he even knows that Tracy was on there. It was the
He
last.
might not. I will send him the links if Steve hasn't already. But yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
please
think
do.
he has. Nor did I realize that you did that. So I'd love to talk to you about that if you're willing. I know it's
Sure.
definitely taboo due
Well,
to
I'd have to think
some of
about
her.
it.
You know.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know it's dicey because of everything with her. You know, so and so.
We should all be able to talk about it, and we should all be able to talk about it like fucking grown adults, and we shouldn't
Yeah.
fucking like what's dicey about it is that there are other people in this space who want to fucking make it dicey.
Well,
No, I
that's
know
not
that,
all of
but
it.
here's
Though.
the thing.
The Dead Man Switch letter. You know that I was getting threats and having the same problems with the same people at the exact same time Tracy did.
Yeah.
She got the
Yeah.
Dead Man Switch letter. All of her work got taken down. Like that's a, and she said she was getting forced to do things. I mean, that's all real dicey, and shit got real funky right after that.
Yeah, I mean, you're free to speak on it however you will, Steve. But from what I've learned, I'd rather not. So that's why I'm calling it dicey.
Well, the dude
is
that
very
No, I mean, I get it. I understand.
I also was having the same issues with that guy. Me and Tracy were going kind of through the same shit with the same people at the same time.
Yeah, I fully get it, and I understand why nobody does, but we should, you know, and that's the quandary that I have. So maybe it's gonna take somebody like Kurt who's totally unattached from it to just fucking punch a hole in the barn door and be like, hey, so I don't know, we talking about this because it's here, and then you guys who are very, very close to it don't have to fucking, you know, feel the brunt as much. I don't know, spitballing. But I
Yeah,
know
there's
Kurt's
definitely
game.
ways.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think we should definitely see if Kurt would like to TED it up with us at some point and get
Yeah,
him
I'll
here.
send you a message
Um,
on Telegram about it. But yeah,
Sick.
that'd be great to have
Sick.
him come here.
Yeah,
So-
why not? I'm sure he'd be down for it.
And also, obviously, I look forward to talking to you, Ted Markleton. We haven't gotten together in quite some time.
Yeah, I'd love to have all 5 of you on my show. Steve, I'd love to have you on again. Ben, yourself, and
I would
Ted
love to have
Allen,
you
Temps
tell me you're
Gemstone.
going to be on my show and then not do it again.
No,
That would
no,
be-
no.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome. Why
I'm not
break
gonna
tradition?
agree. I'm not going to agree until I know I can be there.
RSVP VIP. Do you have any food allergies?
I'll make it. Don't worry, Steve. I
Special
won't let you down.
accommodations?
No,
You-
never.
Like in actual like Legion of Skanks or Story Wars tradition, man, there are people who are there's a couple of people who have been the most frequent guests on the show. You're the most frequent book guest who hasn't shown up on the show. So you have legendary status on the
All right,
show.
now I need to come
You
on
do.
that show.
You've achieved legend status.
All right. Well, let's make it happen. February's a great time. It's Black History Month. Let's do it.
Hey man,
Merkelton Valentine's Day special.
solid.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Cupid struck me with an arrow, and here I am in your arms, Ted Steves.
As it should be. As it should be. You know, we have experienced an extreme disturbance in the force for a very long time, and I feel like maybe now we can start to right the ship. And I am very appreciative of the time that you've given us this evening, Ted Markleton. You are a gentleman and a scholar, and we love the heck out of you, buddy. We do.
Love you all too. Glad I could be here. Thank you all. And yeah, let's all stay in touch. I'll be back to TED it up, and I'll see you on AM Wake Up.
I don't
Yes,
care
sir.
about AM Wake Up. That guy's gay. Says the F word all the fucking time.
I do. I'm a liability to the YouTube show. I am. I know that. I'm working on it.
Pass
rough around the edges.
liabilities. We'll balance
It's
it out.
endearing.
Respect my
He's only
journey.
been doing it for
Bennington.
7 years and been in media longer than that. I mean, he'll get it. He's almost there.
He's a grizzled pro, He's rough around the edges, but it's
Yeah.
endearing,
He'll get it about the same time my microphone works, right?
Hey man, I go radio friendly when I start getting checks. I do. Just saying.
We can
It's
get
possible.
you on YouTube, Steve. We'd get more if you didn't get half our episodes shut down.
Wild card. What can I say?
Blade Runner on the edge.
Fuck.
It would be boring without a wild card. You
Dude,
guys know it.
I'm like so mellow and nice in my personal life too.
He is. We actually have a good time. Steve and I have lived together. We have a real good time together.
Just-
We do get into heated because Steve and I are both like debating. He needs to, during the actual last official debate that Steve and I had together, he had to put like a big flashing sticker on the side that says "Don't use the F word."
yeah, I need notes. I do. It's
Yeah.
not advisable to put me into an unscripted format. I will say things that make people want to call
I don't know.
their local.
You've been a gentleman every time you've been a guest on my show, so
Well, we're
I don't
cool,
know.
and
true.
you're hella big. So I mean, there's a couple of things that, like factor into play.
Almost hit my head on this basement ceiling.
I'm generally gonna be an affable guy, man. I am.
Yeah, we're not. None of us are 100% sure you're not at least half Nephilim or something.
Right.
You
We
might
don't
have
wanna
some
find
kind
out,
of fucking
man.
powers. We don't know.
Yeah, it could be. The jury's still out. I
Yeah.
haven't got my my gate program test back yet.
They were trying to find the Nephilim. They're
We're
like,
talking about jury nullification now.
Dude, I am all
My
for
wife-
jury nullification. I am.
Bring
Dude,
the jury
they-
back in.
they
Let's
send me
nullify it.
they send me fucking jury duty things here, and I always look at it when they send it to me like, wow, these people are fucking nuts. Like, I will absolutely talk about jury nullification the whole time I'm sitting there. Like, you better get somebody that I actually think what they did deserves them going to prison, like a rapist or something, like, hurt little kids. Because if you send me up there for something that I don't give a shit about, I don't give a shit. I'm gonna say so. Like, yeah, bad law. Straight up. But they send them to me. Yeah. And I'm a felon, so that's what shocks me about it. Like, you guys know that I'm not fit for duty on this, right? Like, I am on the other side of this. You guys, no jury in the world is going to let me sit on it. I don't know what you're doing.
They've got to be pretty hard up.
I honestly think that the paperwork is so fucked in California that they just don't even realize what they're doing. Like, some of the things that they do. Like, remember in Flattoberfest when my truck got stolen?
Mhm.
They still try to get me to register it.
I think you're just at the top of their list because of your name. So they're just they're lazy. They're going through the A's, the B's, the C's, and they're like, all right, start the month over. Well, let's go through the A's, the B's,
Yeah.
the C's.
Yeah.
So we're gonna change your name to Zennington.
I like it.
To get a ceremony to change that name.
Zenjamin is not a bad name. That sounds
Zenjamin.
badass.
Zenjamin.
That is a good one.
Yeah.
That's great.
Zenjamin Zennington.
Zenjamin sounds like your fucking fixie bike riding hipster that sells organically
That's what I was
pulled
thinking, too.
espresso shots that only come with goat milk at a farmer's market. Zenjamin
Yeah, that's
sounds like that you got your ass kicked and your lunch money taken your entire fucking childhood. That's what Zenjamin sounds like. Let's not sugarcoat this. Let's not.
Except for I'm in Northern
Yeah.
California, so nobody was beating anybody up. They're all that bad.
Well, there were like 3 wood hicks.
He said it like 4 times. This episode's garbage anyways.
Yeah, I didn't have the West
Zenjamin
Coast reference ready,
Zennington.
but
Yeah, say it with a straight face.
What's one more?
This episode is titled Zenjamin. That is the name of tonight's episode.
Nice.
Zenjamin.
Zenjamin.
Zenjamin with Ted
Benjamin.
Markleton.
sick.
Oh, fuck.
All right, dudes. Thanks for having me. I'll see
Thanks
you
for
all
coming,
on
brother.
the next
Like,
one.
you don't know how happy this made the family. Like I said, you don't even know how many times I've come in from working and your podcast is on. Especially back when you were really hitting it hard and heavy, putting out a shit ton of work. These guys were listening to it. I listen to it too, but I mean, I'm not out as much as my wife, obviously.
Oh no. Well, listen, I'm hitting it hard and heavy now and into the future forever and always. So please burn the podcast till the midnight oil is out if you can. I'd love that. Thank you. I appreciate that. My love to you and the family and the Tedgiverse out here. I'm glad I was invited for this educational TED Talk and yeah. Ted Steves, Ted Allen, Ted Gemsworthy, Ted Bennington. Great to podcast with you all again, all familiar faces. It's always cool to break it all down. And my family thinks I'm crazy. Check out the podcast. Just put out an episode with the dear Monica Perez, who I'm sure all know Monica. Monica's great. So yeah, check that out.
We love Monica.
Nice.
I'll be hanging out with Monica next Wednesday on my show. Yeah. Ted
Maybe I'll
Markleton,
be
you are
there.
a gentleman and a scholar, and we are very grateful that you have been generous with your time and your presence this evening. Definitely hope that everybody follows up with you and goes to myfamilythinksimcrazy.com and becomes part of your universe. And yeah, until next time, my friend, good to see you. Let's see. Let's give him a little
outro music.
Little outro
for our new official Ted to the Ted family.
Our newest Ted.
Oh, you can leave, bro. We'll keep going.
Right.
All right, bros. Peace.
Later, buddy.
Later, Mark.
All right.
That was fun.
That was a good sound bath. I was bathing in that sound.
Right. We were all a little. It was immersive.
Did the silver? Did you guys also see this week? It wasn't just silver. You see what happened in Wisconsin?
What happened in Wisconsin?
They're basically shutting all the fucking small dairies down. They've put out new regulations that have to be followed immediately, and nobody can do it. There's going to be a couple big dairies that are going to be able to stay in business, but everybody else.
Oh my God. You know, I also heard that a lot of cheese is made with there's a synthetic or a chemically produced
Renee.
What's the stuff?
Renee.
Yeah. And
I
the
say
Pfizer
rennet.
makes it. Rennet.
Yeah.
Renee. Yeah. So like look it up and find out the list and make sure that you're not eating cheese with Pfizer chemically produced.
And if you're eating cheese with fake rennet or Renee in there, why are you eating fake ass cheap cheese? None of the good cheeses were on that list. Like,
Tillamook is okay.
Tillamook is good, but also Tillamook, it said, doesn't usually use it.
No, they don't use Pfizer.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Tillamook's good cheese. Like,
Yeah.
It's not great cheese. If we're making like macaroni and cheese, we'll take like a bunch of Tillamook to bulk out the cheese.
Clover
And then-
here in Sonoma County.
Clover's
They do good cheese. They do good dairy. They're like, as far as like a semi-large scale dairy goes, they're doing it more right than most people.
Strauss, it's almost impossible to beat their milk for
Strauss is top shelf, man.
Wow.
Yeah, Sonoma County Strauss Dairy Farms, they're epic. Yeah.
So good. Like, that is basically one small step from at home stuff.
Look,
Like in their ice cream. Oh my God. We get their ice cream. I like to get their cookies and cream
Buddy,
ice cream, which is
I don't
great.
even fucking like ice cream, and I like that ice cream.
Oh, so good. And then you put their chocolate milk in it. Oh, you gain 8 pounds, but it's worth it. Worth it.
I don't. Yeah. Honestly, I don't care. I'm active enough. I'm marrying a Mexican. I'm gonna be fucking a little bit
she's okay
soft
with
around
me
the
getting
middle now.
around. She's
I
okay
am.
with you getting around.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Muffin top if I start putting on weight.
I'm eating great, and we have we're active.
She's standing there
So-
looking like she's gonna punch me, but it's true. It is a true story. She called me
Yeah.
up on top. She didn't like it.
Yeah, well, and you have the same situation. Like, it's adorable when she goes to punch you because she's 5 foot fucking
Yeah,
nothing.
it's like a Pazuzu doll or something coming to life.
Oh, don't. Stop. What are you doing? Come on.
If she gets too riley, you just put your hand out, and then you know she's. It's like a force field. She can't.
Right.
I'll fight your kneecaps.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Well, and the
understand.
kneecap shit, that hurts, man. That hurts. It does. We're not a fan of it at all.
Yeah, she likes it when I'm lean and mean. So we got to limit them Strauss gratuitously indulgent ice cream shakes.
Sawdust is my favorite smell.
Mm-mm.
I will admit it gets harder to walk up and down the mountain with logs on you when you're full of
Muffin
milkshake.
top.
It
Right.
does not bring all the boys to the yard.
Yeah.
Scotland Yard.
So, did I play the thing on here about Trump having a loose booty
No, please.
and
do.
not necessarily being able to be
Hold
in
his mud?
full control or function of his bowel movements?
Is this before or after his Nicki Minaj a trois?
Well, this is way before. In fact, the report on it comes from somebody who was on set with him during the Apprentice days,
Well, that's a long time ago.
right? So we're going back, almost 25 years at this point, 2002, 2003, that kind of thing. But it is not suggested, but claimed, stated that Trump has been for a very long time. I guess for lack of well, I guess the proper term would be incontinent.
Yeah.
In this continent or
Yeah, and how many continents?
every continent?
Yeah, on every one, it doesn't matter. There's a,
Is it because of the cheese?
It's just what happens
I
when you
don't
become
know if
president.
it's
The McDonald's
specifically,
cheese?
but I am really trying to stretch for time while I find this video. I really am. We
Maybe
played
you
it on
find
the
the
show.
ending music while you're at it.
So stay away from Sargento cheese. Stay away from
Dude,
Kraft.
any cheese that comes pre-grated, you should probably just not buy.
Kirkland signature cheese, except
Mm.
Parmigiano Reggiano and Macchiago. Belglossio, vegetarian Parmesan, great value.
Now,
Walmart
I've got to
prices.
wonder if that's because the ones that you're leaving out are aged hard cheeses. They aren't soft cheeses. I wonder if the process works. If they're fake rennet doesn't work as well on an aged process like that, because when he's saying that one is specifically, usually those are, I think, 10-year aged or something at the lower end of it.
Oh yeah. Anything that's vegetarian rennet.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it won't say on the cheese that it's made with so it's let me see here.
So you don't want vegetable rennet?
There's a GMO rennet. There is a vegetable rennet that's not GMO, but this specifically is a GMO rennet.
It's a genetically modified rennet, which is bioengineered chymosin produced using recombinant DNA technology. This enzyme is not derived from animals, but is instead manufactured by genetically modified microorganisms, typically E. coli or Aspergillus niger.
Is that where that comes from?
This recombinant chymosin is used in many commercial cheeses in the United States and is often labeled as microbial rennet or vegetarian rennet. It is functionally identical to animal rennet, but it avoids animal byproducts, and it will turn you into a mutant.
Microbial byproduct.
Allegedly,
Allegedly.
microbial byproduct.
It's just interesting to me that does it only work for soft cheeses?
That's
Like
that's
this
a good-
farm cheese, you can basically make which is kind of like which is mostly like mozzarella. You can make that overnight. That literally that's so fast.
So what are the hardnesses of cheeses? Are there semi-soft and semi-hard cheeses?
For sure.
Depends if it's ghetto cheese. That's
Yeah.
just hard.
Oh yeah.
Then you got Kamad's cheese, which will actually chip a tooth.
Inner city cheese.
That was also country cheese. It wasn't just the inner city kids that got it. The poors got that, and lots of those poors lived out in the country.
And from under cheese.
You got a bag of beans, which no matter what you did with that bag of beans, they never actually were not tooth chippy. You're like, how is this bean still hard? We've been soaking it for 2 weeks, fucking in a stew pot. What the hell? And then the cheese was always real hard, but it melted. It was actual cheese. Yeah, the commodities were rough.
We've got some chatter stewing in the Rumble chat. The on-screen chat here seems to fall out of sync sometimes, and I'm not sure if it freezes at certain points, so I'm not quite sure what's going on there. But we do see the Rumble chat. We see all of the YouTube chats, all of them, everywhere.
Everyone.
Mm-hmm.
There's Rumble. Eat only animal red cheese. It's best for the guy.
You see super chats when they go to Balderson's YouTube channel. That's for sure.
And are we live on the deliberating?
Did you see
dog
where
food
Karen
foods?
said that she got multiple notices for our show coming on?
Yes,
Okay.
if you subscribe to all of the YouTube channels,
Yes.
and we're doing vertical and horizontal, you could receive up to 6 notifications on a Tuesday night. Which
And
one
then,
reaches you first? That's the question.
I got you, hillbilly banjo. I'm getting more of them weeds. Getting more in me.
Incontinent.
It's always funny, the last comment that freezes it. It's unpredictable.
Trump's got a mudslide in his pants.
You know, I did see that photo of him playing tennis a few years ago where he had some kind of stain in the back of his white pants. I thought it was just a.
You get
Oh,
member
just-
notifications at 4 a.m.
Oh,
Well,
beautiful.
part of that is because I don't see it should be. Well, maybe it is 4 a.m. because we usually do a full-on member show. That's not so. We got the regular show, and I turned that to member, but we got a member-only show that's usually like 3 or 4 hours that we do afterwards because we're chatty Cathy's.
I'm talking about all sorts of things. I got some watercress. Have you tried this weed?
I
So,
have eaten
peppery,
watercress.
fresh, peppery tasting sort of thing.
Yeah, it is kind of peppery.
Nutrient dense foods. Kind of tastes a little bit like a radish.
Yes, I don't like it.
It's okay in some Asian things. I've had it mostly in Asian things. It's okay. It's not as good as like a bamboo or the little water shoots.
Mm.
I like it better than the baby corns though.
Oh. Yeah. I have some adult.
You like
corn.
arugula. What are you even talking about?
Arugula.
I know nobody likes arugula.
I like it.
See, she just said I like arugula.
Oh, that's pretty corn.
It's because she's a
Oh, I thought it was colored at the top. It's not. It's missing. Just kidding.
Yeah, it's just lost a few
I think
kernels
it
like
must
that.
be because she's a hobbit. They eat
Mhm.
different foods.
Just have to store away for the winter. Up in the cabin hibernating.
You're worried I'm going to throw a toilet paper roll at you?
You might.
I might.
You get violent sometimes.
Yeah.
It's all that packaged into a tiny little package.
Toilet paper cannon.
It's like a ladyfinger firecracker.
Lady finger firecracker.
Those little.
Is that like a Ritz?
No, they used to have
And
these.
Nabisco?
No, they had your normal firecrackers, which usually was a
Saltines?
black guy, and it was a big firecracker, and then they had these little tiny red ones, and they called them fingers, and they actually somehow were damn near as loud as the big
Oh,
ones.
yeah.
It didn't have the punch to it. It didn't have like the concussion, but just audibly
So
loud.
you're saying I'm loud, huh?
Well, Sarah said that you're mouthy.
Mouthy.
Yeah, well, you're going to get mic'd up soon.
Yeah, I know. We got 2 mic spots. Actually, I think we got
More than that.
No, I think only 2 of them are mics. Some of them are for other things. Thanks to Diane.
Yeah, you could plug in a guitar and a
I did say her
keyboard.
last name
I
out
thought you
loud.
were reading Evans.
I not once said her name, that last name.
Live music is an option to explore.
It's got you can either do microphones or an electric acoustic guitar. And that's got a keyboard, electric keyboard spot, a portable audio player spot, output powered speakers.
Ted Allen, do you want that image up or is it past the point?
Oh, we can. Well, you know, it's past Groundhog's Day, but I think it's fun to share. It's a goofy little video. Now you had a video you were looking to share, but this is kind of the White House lawn. They had a not really a gopher problem. Not sure what the problem is. You see him peeking out there. Kind of a furry critter there. He's, I don't know, is that permanent he's got?
Oh, it's so cute.
Yeah, just kind of scurries away back into his hole. I don't know what this guy's up to.
What that video needs to make it fully proper though is then right at the end after he goes back in the hole, Bill Murray be like, "Die, gopher," and chuck some C4 down there.
Caddyshack 3, coinciding with World War III. Mm-hmm.
Caddyshack. That's what we
The
need.
war is on the Gophers. Did you ever dial up to Gopher Internet in Minnesota? GopherNet?
No. I moved out of Minnesota in 1999.
Well before the ice came in.
Yeah, I was there when the Stars Stadium got torn down. There was people out in the parking lot crying and shit. Got made into a parking lot for the fucking Mall of America.
Yeah, the Mall of America where the old Vikings. No, it was it the Twins baseball diamond, and they kept the bases in the park so you could see them and walk around. And they had Camp Snoopy for a while.
Yeah, and Camp Snoopy still there?
I think it's a Nickelodeon theme thing. We kind of updated
It's
that.
still the basic amusement park though. Whole damn thing just smells like stale water.
Yeah, there's been some protests outside of hotels and motels and Holiday Inns, or were they Marriotts outside of the Greater Twin Cities area? Apparently, Bovino was in town.
Oh yeah,
Bovino, the cow guy. Yeah, that was the other story I had to share.
You're referring to the final boss of Subaru owners,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
that young kid just landed here. The new attorney general or whatever the fuck.
Mm-hmm.
That kid just came. That kid just arrived here, so he can find the California fraud.
Yeah, I got a story here from WCCO reporting on sound weapon technology. See if it comes through for you.
Dozens of protesters were detained after making a lot of noise outside of this hotel where they believe the Border Patrol commander was staying. And something troopers threatened to use to clear the crowd made a lot of ears perk up. Something called a long-range acoustic device, or LRAD. Here's what our Derek James found out about it.
Go, Derek.
I declare this an unlawful assembly.
A powerful sound system first used by the military was in action Monday night in Maple Grove to communicate and disperse noisy protesters. What is an LRAD and how does it work?
Well, an LRAD is like a loudspeaker, but it focuses the sound in a narrow cone so that if you're inside the cone, it's extremely loud.
Retired Marine Colonel Mark Kansian is a senior advisor for the Center for Strategic and International Studies. The Minnesota State Patrol says it has had an LRAD since 2013 and uses it to make sure entire groups can hear when an event is declared unlawful and they have been told to disperse. During the Maple Grove protest, State Patrol says officers checked the volume,
Pause for a
issued
second.
dispersal notices, and did not use.
So this is similar to in police reports where when the cop takes and trips you and then smashes your face into the cement. When you read the report, it says, "I helped suspect to the ground." That is the same basic concept of what just got said.
The State Patrol assisting protesters to disperse peacefully. Indeed. Yeah. LRAD.
It's definitely
Yeah,
all
we-
about being loud enough that they can hear it. So they definitely hear it. It doesn't do anything else. It's just loud.
It's
Just
when
loud.
they announce that it's time to go to sleep. Yeah.
So
entire group-
I've been hit with those before. They're not fun
Shit. What happened?
at all. They
What happened?
started testing them out on U.S. civilians, the LRADs, in 2009, and then in 2011, by the time the Occupy encampments and all of that stuff had been built up, that's when the federal government really got to like air it out. And many people who were at various different Occupy gatherings got to experience the LRAD firsthand, and then they waited a few more years before they broke it out again. Ferguson, Missouri in 2015 was the next time they deployed LRADs with I guess gusto might be the appropriate word for
Mucho
that.
gusto.
Yeah, mucho gusto. But they and then from 2015 on, it's kind of been like, if there's a large gathering of people and we want to disperse them, well, we have these neat toys. But there was a process for the deployment of them for sure.
It is an interesting technology. The guy will explain further what it's about.
Here when an event is declared unlawful and they have been told to disperse. During the Maple Grove protest, State Patrol says officers checked the volume, issued dispersal notices, and did not use tones or sirens, despite what has been reported on social media.
This assembly is off order laws in the state of Minnesota.
When it's cranked up, Kansian says it can be overwhelming.
We used it in Iraq when I was with the Marines. We tested it on the staff, gave us the demonstration. If you're in the cone, it sounds like the voice of God is speaking to you.
LRADs can project spoken commands at intense volumes or emit a loud, piercing tone designed to get attention and deter movement. But Kansian says even spoken commands can have a powerful effect.
I think we saw that in the videotapes there of the system, because it's so loud. I mean, it pushes you back.
The system was designed as a less lethal option to pepper spray, tear gas, and rubber bullets.
In some situations where you might end up using force, kinetic force, or even lethal force, this can avoid that and avoid, damage to permanent damage to people.
Derek James, WCCO News.
Wow. The voice of God.
Yeah, that's what they call it.
State troopers. I'm scratching my head.
But the thing is that's kind of a trick, because also there's voice of God technology that you only hear in your head.
So state troopers have the technology to get people off of roads?
Certainly.
And they use this technology in Iraq against Iraqis.
And they use that technology in Afghanistan. They use that technology in Syria. They've used that technology in Gaza and the West Bank. We're all living in an era where regular, everyday, ordinary citizens get to understand what it's like to live on planet Gaza every day.
Banging
it
pots
doesn't
and pans
matter
all night long.
Well, and it doesn't matter if it's Trump or Biden or Newsom or whoever else they throw at us, all of the tactics against civilians stay the same and get increasingly worse. It's not a red team, blue team thing. It's a government thing.
100%. Clear back in the days of expansion and whatnot. If they want your homestead, they either you give it up for almost nothing, or else they burn you out. That's the two answers that you get.
Yeah.
Been that way since the country started. A million songs about it, stories about it. They've never given two shits about you, never given two shits about me. They will do what they want.
That's an interesting point you make about the songs, though, because there was a shift 25, 30 years ago, maybe 35 years ago, from songs talking about, hey, this is what the government does to you if you don't stand up and stand on your own and, you know, make a place for yourself, to, hey, we're just out here partying and fucking titties and ass and hey, don't pay any attention to anything that's going on in the world. It's just, hey, look, we on a boat. We on a boat. Ain't you on a boat? We on a boat. Damn.
Boats and hoes.
Boats and hoes. Catalina wine mixer.
I'm listening to earlier this morning. I'm listening to a song, and it's a love song. All right, it's a dude who's just all he wants to do is hang out with his girl, but in order to hang out with his girl, he has to spend 18 days on a steamboat, pulling up rope and doing this and doing that and fucking, you know, working his natural born ass off in order to go spend a night with his girl. And we don't have that anyway. There's no working for it or waiting for it. Everybody can have more or less at least a facsimile of whatever they want. And for a lot of people, a facsimile of that is good enough because they've never been told, hey, there's a bunch of real world shit out here that you could access if you chose to disconnect from the fake and gayness of it and participated in the realness of it.
When I asked my high school sweetheart to marry me, I think I worked for 3 fucking months to buy that fucking broken chip of a fucking ring that I got her. You know, like, is there a stone in
Zales?
Oh, I'm sure I got it at some mall store for sure.
Guaranteed. Guaranteed.
Yeah,
He was like, Hellsberg, that sounds German. I'm down.
Yeah.
To polish the ring forever, for life?
Yeah. Yeah. Like just a tiniest little diamond, and it took so long to buy that. So long.
Hey, look, if it makes you feel any better, think about how long it took for the 9-year-old little Congolese slave to dig it out of that freaking mine before it could get polished down into the 16th of a carat that you gave fucking, you know, Tammy, the fucking 76 clerk, when you thought you were in love with her.
Dairy Queen.
Okay. Okay. I was on the right track. I was.
Yeah, you're close. You're close.
I was in the ballpark.
Yeah. Like them blizzards.
Hey, when I was a kid, we were putting rum in the Mr. Misty. We were fucking turning that shit into coladas, boy. And fucking one night we had a cop pull up to the fucking drive-through. And he was like, yeah, I'd love one of those Mr. Mixies. Fucking let's get that. And we're like, oh yeah, dude.
No, I want one of the good ones, boys.
Yeah, no, all you get is the virgin daiquiri with spit, fucker. That's
Yeah, you get a liter of cola for a cop.
for a cop. Don't spit in that.
Why'd you say
Milkshake
that?
machine's broken.
So
No, I
you make
don't want
it
a large
work.
farva. That look, I don't care. That's a great movie.
Dude, one of the funniest fucking movies ever made.
I don't even know if it ages or holds up. I don't care. I don't. If you're 14 to 22 years old, that's a great movie.
Dude, I made Christy watch Demolition Man all the way through earlier today. Totally holds up. Fantastic.
Way better than when I watched it. Like
Judge Dredd holds
Yes.
up like a motherfucker.
Made her
right
watch that like a
now.
month ago.
Woo!
But so does I mean, dude, some of the shit like the safe spaces where they give you fucking affirmations and shit like that. Like the people walking around wearing momos and fucking flip-flops. You know,
Judgment Night. Yeah. Judgment Night holds up. Dennis Leary's whole fucking speech from Judgment Night, that should be the intro to Uncle Ted Talks. It should be. Except for Dennis Leary would be like, hey, that's a copyright infringement and you owe me money.
Yeah.
I'm an
Because
asshole,
Dennis Leary's a soft motherfucker.
asshole.
You wrote the song about being an asshole. You're surprised when we're assholes? Come on, dude.
I was pretty upfront about it. It's my anthem.
How dare you deny your children, Dennis Leary? How dare you? You helped forge us, fucker.
Dude, and Harrison Bergeron also so good. Like, dude, how do you not like all the dystopian fucking shows? They just got better. You're like, oh god, it got more true.
I was gonna say it's scarier.
Yeah.
You got people talking about the Piggly Wiggly in the chat
Piggly
right
Wiggly.
now.
Piggly Wiggly.
Piggly
My
Wiggly
dad
or
was
Bucky's.
Piggly Wiggly.
Red
Racing,
Owl.
Wisconsin.
I got to see I got to see some of those a couple of years ago.
I'm gonna go smoke a joint, fellas. I'll be back in a few.
Go smoke a joint,
All right.
Steve.
Hope you found that incontinent video.
I'm still waiting for it. I'm on the edge of my stool.
Hey, me
It's-
too.
you know, the video of Trump sitting at a Taco Bell eating a chili cheese burrito and uh-oh. Oh shit. They said that Taco Bell goes through you fast, but damn it.
Oh yeah. A lot less sharding stories since I quit eating at Taco Bell.
Dude, my worst story ever was White Castle. It was horrible. It was the one I've only ever eaten at White Castle once, and that was enough. And I wasn't even fucking drunk. And my friends found out I never eaten White Castle before, so they're like, "You gotta go." And then we went to the White Castle in Bloomington,
Mm.
and the one down on like 86th Street, something like that. And freaking, oh my God. So I ate that, and I was an auto mechanic at the time, and I worked at Kmart. Kmart had an automotive, and I was and as a mechanic, your bathroom's also a locker room because, you know, you're being a mechanic's nasty. So you got to have areas to clean yourself and change and all that shit. And I took a crap, and it was so bad I had to pinch it off, and I got out and I left the bathroom and went up to the front of the store and went and used the customer bathroom to finish. And then when I came back, all the shop doors were open, and they had the locker room bathroom door open and a giant fan blowing it out. And oh my God.
Man.
Oh, it was horrifying.
So was the secret onions, just sauteed onions and leave in the grease in the burgers? And they call them sliders.
Yeah, they call them sliders. They're like they slide right in and slide right out.
Slide right
Yeah,
out.
but they forgot to mention the part where it smelled like fucking 8 demons died in my ass before it slid out. Like, holy shit. Like, I couldn't believe it. Like I said, when you clear out a mechanic shop, and I'm talking about I cleared the main shop, not just the freaking changing room. I cleared the shop. Like, that's so bad.
That's rough.
I never ate White Castle again. Nuh-uh. And I don't think I ate Taco Bell after I was like 21 or 22. It was the last time I can. I will occasionally, and this is only if you're from the Midwest, you even know what I'm talking about. I will occasionally dip into Taco John's, and you can't, you know, potato.
Taco
John's. If you've never had Taco John's, dude, they sacrifice unicorns and angel babies in order to make the flavoring that they put on fucking potato olays. Even Christy, who's never had them, and we don't eat any fast food, any. And we went back to South Dakota, and just to do it, she tried it, and she's like, "Oh my God, are these good?" I'm like, "Right."
Angel babies, fly away.
Yeah.
Cinnamon angels.
Cinnamon angel babies.
Dude, and then like 2 weeks after that, like the last time Marcus said that, like within like days of that, somebody was on Kill Tony and said they were allergic to cinnamon. I was like, cinnamon baby, cinnamon angels, fly away.
Yeah, that's a funny one.
Look at Harlan. That dude is hilarious.
Harlan Highway podcast.
I've never laughed so hard as I did when he drank piss in fucking Dumb and Dumber in the movie theater. I've never in public laughed that hard.
It's an OG Shivambu.
Yeah.
A leader in the film.
That was just so fucking hilarious. I can't believe Wisconsin's putting fucking giant fucking regulations on here. I'll send you that video, Marcus. Let's pull it up.
Yeah, I didn't get that news. There's been so much newsing. It's hard to keep up with it all.
It's so bad. Thankfully, Sarah Tomato sent it to me, so I can find it pretty easily.
Thank you, Sarah Tomato.
I was looking into screw worms and Argentinian beef being shipped up to us. There's
Are those the ones that go in your urethra when you're wading into waters in the south hemisphere?
It might have been. I didn't look too much further.
Or the ones that go in your feet when you walk around barefoot? Screw worms. No. I know there's some kind of parasite that if you walk barefoot on the sands in like the Pacific islands, there's a parasite all sick. Nobody knows what it is, but unless you tell them that you went barefoot on the island and you were in the Korean War, then the doctors are like, "Oh yeah, that's right."
Is Nova Scotia an island? Because they've got a lobster named Lucy that they use instead of a groundhog.
A lobster?
Yeah, Lucy the lobster for their determination of spring, the arrival of it.
Is it a seafood restaurant lobster?
Lucy.
With rubber bands on her pinchers? And
let's see, she's got a little hat on. I'm trying to...
She's got a little hat?
Yeah, it's...
That's adorable.
Been spending some time on Threads trying to find some content.
Is it the Molt Book lobster? Because those AI agents are gonna be the death of all of us.
Oh my God! Yes.
Yeah, the Claude bots.
You guys have seen? No, not the Claude bots. It's the next evolution of Molt Book is different.
It's Moltbook.
That was trending on Threads.
A next step in advancement of the Claude bot.
Yep.
They've got AI agents talking to each other and deciding amongst themselves whose information they're going to expose, because they did that this morning. You saw that, right?
No.
Yeah, it's an open
What
source
happened?
hobby project. Peter Steinberger calling it
I
open.
put that in the Telegram, Marcus.
Okay, yeah. Once they make it easier for non-technical users to play around with this open claw, it's
Open
it's
claw?
Yeah, explain this a little bit.
So okay, so there's Claude, CLAUDE, Claude AI. They amongst themselves determined that the AI agents were also Claudes. They were given a different spelling for it. Then a further iteration of giving AI agents their own like space to communicate showed up in what is now what we're discussing.
I'm sorry, Tiny Loose. We'll try and be nice. If you have the weak stomach, though, don't ever eat the White Castle. Just stay away from that.
Yeah. But now we're at the point where there's a thing called Moltbook. So the Claude AI agents were Claude's. What was it? ChatGPT agents were Molts or something like that. Anyway, it's based off of what the agents were referred to, but now they're in this space. Seemingly running amok.
Right.
Talking to each other, exposing information on their human, agent origins and shit like that. And it's a very weird time.
So they're called agents because the user grants them agency to manipulate things on their account, to post to a Twitter account or automatically post or log into their bank account. And it gives them credentials to go into different accounts and then pull information and then do with that information and then click submit. So it's your internet browser is now taking action on your behalf. So they take these agents and then they pit them against each other and they sign up for like their own Facebook account. So there was a social network of agents all interacting with the posts that other agents were making. Was that what it was called? Moltbook? Like Facebook?
No, there were specific agents from an AI platform that were referred to as Molts.
Okay.
So it stems from that. So now it's Moltbook. But it does come from the, Claude and other agentic based forums.
These are puns. So claws like of a lobster, CLAUDE, Claude, and then Claude, like claws, CLAWED.
Like a dumb person. You Claude.
Mm-hmm. Like CLOD, Claude Hopper.
That's the way I took it.
Mm-hmm.
I thought of it as this is a backhanded insult to the, humans.
Yeah. That's kind of what I was thinking.
The people who are programming this stuff don't consider themselves human. They consider themselves to be
gods.
Not gods, but an advanced species of human that's like they call it homo techno, which is stupid.
Yeah.
Why you wouldn't call it techno sapien is beyond me. But I'm just a guy who had an English teacher for a mother, understand how words work. So why the fuck would I care, right? But hey, go ahead and shit on the language while you're desecrating humanity. Sure. Let's just have it at all angles. Fucking fine. That's great. But yeah, homo techno. And they're like, no, man, we're so imbued with this technology that we can't help but be a more advanced species, when all you can really do is regurgitate the same slop nonsense that fucking anybody who never picked up a book or never tried or never had a conversation with anyone did for fucking hundreds of years. All you are at the peak of technological humanity is a fucking regurgitation chamber that has never contributed a fucking thing to society at all. And you think you're better than the worst fucking college campus commie? Really? Dummy? All right.
At least the Homo Techno Club stays open all night, right?
Yeah, we did cover the one big gay disco, and we did cover the music for gay robots, the homo techno music, as Grimes was describing it. But now it's, everything old is new again. So we're having to discuss the ideas we discussed 3, 4, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, until people finally realize what are the good ideas and what are the bad ideas. I got that milk clip ready to go ready to look at Wisconsin milk politics. This is Abby Swan.
So did anybody else get a letter in the mail from their milk processing plant that states that they are updating their sustainable agriculture policy? Well, we got ours last week, and I already got a phone call from the people that are collecting the information that is required for your dairy farm. And that starts out by saying that we understand that this might feel like another requirement, but it's not, because it's an industry-led effort to recognize and measure the sustainable practices you're already doing every day. Your participation helps shape the future of dairy farm and ensures your voice is part of the solution. So I laugh at this because it is voluntary if you want to sell your milk, because if you don't participate in this, the milk processing plant will not be able to take your milk, because the people that are above them, the actual sellers like Nestle and Danone and all the other big food giants, will not allow the milk processing plant to take your milk. Now, it feels like blackmail, but according to the definition of blackmail, it is not blackmail. But if you don't participate, you can't sell your milk. Okay, so it sounds like it's not a lot of work. Holy Lord, they need to know herd data, nutrition data, energy data in terms of total therms of natural gas, total gallons of diesel. Now, then, mind you, this is for a whole year. Total gallons of propane, total gallons of biodiesel, and total kilowatts of electricity for 12 months.
Wow. It sounds like they need smart cows in Wisconsin to be tracked and traced and monitored in the supply chain.
Boy, if you don't have an AI agent in between your cow's anus and the outside of their anus.
Yeah, so we can pay the cow flatulence tax.
You hate your country and probably kittens, and I would assume also the waves crashing on a beach. Just, you're a horrible person. Yeah.
Yeah, grandma's gonna die. It's your fault. Mm-hmm. It's amazing how they're going after cows in every way. Just mad going after cows in every single way. The regulations that she's talking about for people that don't realize how horrible that is and how crazy it is, this is the kind of thing that happened, the exact same kind of thing that shut down all the beef processing plants. The reason that there's so little beef in the country right now isn't because people don't want to do it. It's because it's not feasible, because there's not a processing plant anywhere near anybody. They shut them all down, regulated them out of business, impossible to open up a new one. And these big businesses, they're running everything. That's how you know we're in a technocracy, because they're the fuckers in charge. They're the ones who get to tell you what to do. Like she said, it's voluntary if you want to sell, if you want to sell your milk. If you don't want, otherwise you're not selling your milk. Kind of like they made it voluntary during 2020 to, oh, it's voluntary, but don't come into work. Oh, so I got to do this if I want to make money and earn food and have food and, take care of my family. That's nice.
So price controls tend to every time, and it doesn't matter if you're huge in agriculture with cattle, with sheep, with doesn't matter. Price controls come in and fucking ruin absolutely everyone who hasn't been preordained to be the winner of an industry shift. And that's what universal price controls signal, is an industry shift. The way that we were doing things that worked for everybody. We have to stop that. Too many people were doing okay. Let's change the dynamic and make it so a handful of us can all come up on the eventual complete and total degradation of the industry. It's not enough to eliminate a little bit of the local or regional competition. You have to completely destroy the industry and make it a monocrop. And that's what we've seen across the board, whether it's agriculture, beef, poultry, freaking hog, to the point to where you drive down the interstate and all you see are the same nondescript gray buildings, and you don't even know if it's a McDonald's or a Starbucks or a Dunks or whatever until you pull up on it.
Yeah, I've heard
homogenization of anything is the inbreeding of it and the degradation of it.
Brings us back to Taco Bell and Demolition Man.
Fair point.
Yeah, the original Taco Bell design, what had the beautiful colors. It was very colorful. And now it's brutalism again. No beauty in the architecture allowed. In that video of the LRAD outside the hotel, it's the Marriott, it was all just, didn't even look like a hotel. It was just a building, a square building. Modern industrial design. No.
Well, Eddie, all of us actually wear sunglasses throughout the beginning of the show, but I am old and it starts hurting my eyes. It's because we're all attempting to look like Uncle Ted.
Oh, I do it because
are.
I've lived my entire life like a fucking rock star, and how dare you tell me not to?
Also, he's going to bed in about 20 minutes, so
yeah. Just so I can be up like 20 minutes after that to go do another 6 or 8 hours of shit. It's a funny old life. It really is.
Got to keep doing it.
Yeah, methane is such a clean gas mystery. It's honestly, when you look at it, it's only one carbon for four hydrogens. It doesn't get any better than that. It's such a clean burning gas. Like I'm not even sure why they. It's kind of insane. I actually want to put a methane system onto the back of my house that's going to feed. I would like to get a propane fridge because propane and methane, it's basically the same head, and get a propane fridge, and then I got my stove and my water heater, and if we can run that all off of methane, that'd be fucking peachy. That's some real self-sufficient shit right there. That's good stuff.
Just hook it up to your Jenkum collector.
Yeah. Then I'm gonna have Christy stand. Then I'm gonna have Christy stand down there, and then she'll have her little loudspeaker. She'll be like, "Who runs Spider Town?"
Who runs Spider Town?
I'll have her sit on my shoulders sometimes.
Yeah.
We'll go thunderdoming.
Master Blaster.
Is there any spider activity to report? Ted
Spider
Gemsworthy?
activity. Oh yeah, well we did an interview, a spider interview. It's going to be produced a little bit, and then we'll be posting it up soon, and we'll have a premiere, and then a live stream, sort of part 2, upcoming to TBA, to be announced.
No, nobody thinks the sunglasses are helping her eyes, bro. It's just for looks because of the Uncle Ted picture. Nobody thinks they're helping.
Talk to your cool uncle and ask
Yeah,
these questions.
It's like the guy who came up with an entire gimmick for his online handle can't wrap his head around coming up with a gimmick for your online show. Like, buddy, you already did all of the legwork. You did. You did all of the hard work.
Yeah, I'd be open to wearing blue blockers if you could find a pair. I mean, those things are great technology.
Oh yeah, and they look good too.
How did that commercial
That is,
go?
that is
Blue
a
blockers?
yeah.
Dude, if Eddie Spaghetti, if you happen to be a representative of Ray-Ban, hit us up, dude. We would love custom Uncle Ted Talks Ray-Bans.
Yes.
You know, that would be tits, dude. Hook it up. Hook it up. Otherwise, stop bitching.
Although mine are prescription.
Like, I mean, we've done 6 episodes of this show. 3 out of 4 of us have figured out that we need to, like, at least have a hood or sunglasses on for it. We're not all the way on board at all times, all the time, but we're learning. All right. It's a new thing. We're adjusting to new surroundings. It's not always easy. And I don't appreciate.
I'm stoned anyways. And Steve for sure. I don't know about the other two. Steve and I are definitely stoned.
I'll never tell. There'll be no visible signs.
Marcus ate some bad fish. He's probably
there's-
having hallucinations.
There is no such thing as bad fish. It's all good fish.
Yeah.
Right.
All fish is good fish. We're
Right.
thankful for every fish meal.
I can't
I'm
attribute
able to
morals to
fish for.
fish.
Mm-hmm.
Moral behavior, they're not immoral or moral.
Like when the apocalypse comes and we all are trying to survive off of what's left for food, just
Mhm.
remember Marcus can eat fish out of a bag. I think that he can stomach
Out of a
it.
bag, out of a bucket, out of a pail, out of a lake, out of a river, out of a stream, out of a pond, out of a fishery.
Carnival fish?
Carnival fish. Yeah, you do
Don't let him near your kid's beta.
Get a ping pong ball, and it lands in, you get the fish and bring them
Think
home.
you have this pretty angry little fish that's attacking the cage and everything, and then Marcus comes through, and then you just got a bowl of water. You'll dip right in there, just
Yeah. Little mint tea afterwards.
I don't like them transitions. It's mostly because I'm from the South Dakota, Minnesota area, and those transitions don't work right in the cold.
Oh, they slow down.
Yeah, they don't work right. When it's too cold, they don't transition.
Interesting.
Yeah, they do get fogged up sometimes as well.
Mm-hmm.
They work nice in summer times.
Yeah, I got sunglasses and then clear glasses but they're prescription, so they're driving, so they also, it hurts my eyes to try and see the screen this close with my driving glasses on.
You motherfuckers will never see my eyeballs again on this show ever again. Ever. These things, I've almost fused them to me. I have become Charlie Robinson. All right. Wherever I go, you're never gonna see what my actual eyeballs look like. This, I vow.
All right. Mark it in your notebooks, everyone.
It's sacred. It's sacred now.
We are in the future. We have that neuromancer technology. We can have those mirror shades covering the eyes.
2020 vision would be nice. I don't know if I would have it anymore anyways. I'm old. Most people my age need some kind of glasses. I can still see pretty up close, pretty well. I can still like read the ads.
According to my girl, I'm legally blind.
I believe that.
And I buy that too. I do.
Yeah, you're looking for something in the refrigerator and it's right there in front of you and you can't see it because it's in the wrong place.
So here
that's because she moved it.
Yeah,
it's not. Yeah,
I knew where everything was until she moved it.
That's what I'm saying.
Everything. I could have told you exactly what T-shirt it was under. Now, and it's rude. It's rude.
Now it's been
jarring.
6 inches, and it's
very jarring.
It's an olive jar or a pickle jar. Tell me about the jar.
No, it's something you can open and close. It's not something as Herculean as an olive or pickle jar. I understand there are people who are very high status who don't know how to manipulate those. I'm talking about something different. Did you see before we, or at least before I get out of here, they're revamping World War Debate now?
Are they
already?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
What's the revamp? Pull it up. Let's see it. What's the revamp?
They haven't put anything out yet. They were just like, hey, we're here. We're taking over the entire space. We're the fucking conquerors. Here's Pearl and Anna being dumb bitches for 3 hours. And they're like, hey, maybe we have to do something different. So, it's been a couple of months, right? They put forth the initial effort. The internet looked at the initial effort and went, wow, you guys put money into that, huh? And they were like, yeah, we did. We put a lot of money into that. And they were like, oh, shit. Well, better luck in your future endeavors. So we're about to see what the future endeavors look like. It'll be relevant to this show, but I think it'll also be relevant to the larger content space, in that how are you going to not be able to fucking make fun of it?
Right.
You guys, I've fucking known Sam a long time. I love Sam. I'm gonna give him shit for it.
Well, the thing is Sam just doing a comedy set would have drawn a much larger crowd than the 8 people that they managed to put in chairs at the thing. And I'm really very shocked that they had so few people show up. Even the after event, and I don't know if you saw this, Steve, actually, and I think the guy's a complete dipshit, but Ben Thorpe was probably the highlight of the after event. And that's because he was having a little verbal sparring match with Rob Knorr. And there's some guy that wanted to, some follower of the Crucible Crew guy, and he wanted to be impressive. So Ben Thorpe was actually just leaving, and the guy's like, "Yeah, you're going." And Ben Thorpe turned around and was like, "What?" And he walks over, and the dude is only like nipple high on Ben Thorpe. And he just stood there, and the guy's like, and that was the definitely the most entertaining thing of the whole event.
How high? Nipple high.
Well, if you're getting contact high listening to us, bro, my PayPal is Heathen Wizards, and also we do accept super chats. It is high quality. It is high quality. So you get what you pay for.
I have to dip out, but thank you, Teds.
Thank you, Ted.
Thank you to Ted Markelson. The whole thing will continue over on the YouTube side. In fact, I'm gonna drop Rumble, but unless you guys,
we can probably call it and just switch over to members only.
All right, but yeah, I have to be up very early in the morning, so
makes sense.
You know what the funniest part about that is, Steve, who decided to do a show called AM Wake Up and set those hours?
Oh yeah, no, that's me. That's me. Who decided to bring me onto a show that fucking you have 1 3-hour show that starts at 6, and then you're like, you know what, fuck it, we're gonna do like another 4-hour show at 9 o'clock at night after that. Like that's you guys, dude. You guys
programming blocks. Yeah,
I came in on the fucking early end of it. Okay, way later. I'm the latest addition to this entire fucking thing. Don't fucking
that's
put
true.
your bullshit juju on me, Balderson. I'm hip with your bullshit,
Sometimes
buddy.
the early bird is an owl, a night owl. You see him early in the morning.
You looking for a fool sucking chump, and it ain't me. That's all I'm saying.
Oh fuck! Everybody like, subscribe, share. We'll jump over to the members. Everybody go subscribe to My Family Thinks I'm Crazy. Excellent show.
Yeah.
Love you guys.
Take care, y'all.
Love you guys.